Hello everyone and welcome to Low Ink June 2022. This is Vapor here on the mic with DRF, ready to bring some of the finest low-level Splatoon action. So let's see who we are starting off here.
Yeah, we are starting off with Inkception, taking on CocoWoomy here in round number 1. And both of these teams are definitely, have come up from time to time. So it's nice to see them, returning to this scene here. Particularly CocoWoomy. I believe we have had them on stream a long time ago in the past. So I'm really excited to kind of see, if how much these teams have grown since we have last seen them pop up elsewhere. So we're gonna get to see them in their first action here today on Rainmaker Manta Maria.
Yeah, Rainmaker, Manta, Slosher map, Splatling map. What else is there that really goes on? It can be really fast paced at the end of the day, so gotta stay on your toes at all time.
Yeah, you really do have to stay on your toes almost every second of this game, because if you get wiped for just a moment, that's easily 50 points on the board there for the opposing team, assuming you're coming from mid. So, definitely going to be a little bit of an interesting struggle here for these two teams. But let's take a look at these comps, Vapor.
Squeezer, foil squeezer paired up with that V roller on the side of Inkception. I am really interested to see how this will work out.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of an interesting comp coming out from Inkception there. Actually, both teams have some interesting picks, because on the side of CocoWoomy, we do have that Kensa roller, which is a weapon you get to see a whole lot of, and that's Squeezer going to get shut down there. Or going to be able to get a quick 37 points on the board there, but it looks like there's not going to be much follow-up as two people go down on the side of Inkception, and this person's just about dead.
Yeah, and we didn't even talk about Inkception having that Aerospray PG. A lot of paint option paired up with that Junior as well will put down all the paint for their roller. Evelyn on this K roller though getting shut down, and Rainmaker all the way in the backfield, actually in negative point territory. That's going to be a full wipe. And Inkception just grabbing this Rainmaker, pushing it all the way below 40 remaining, and even further, Bubbles coming out, getting one pick. Rainmaker finding another. It's only that Jet Sculpture right above that pedestal getting taken down by that Rainmaker. Pushing up in, not enough time for the members of CocoWoomy to take them out. Inkception here taking game number 1.
Wow, what a game 1 from Inkception, as they were able to get a quick hold of that Rainmaker, push it up, and possibly a little bit too quick, but they managed to maintain the aggression, and that's really the important part of what came out of that push, is they managed to hold their position for long enough where CocoWoomy was able to fall into some mistakes. They were able to punish that and eventually got that delayed wipe that led to that knockout.
Yeah, and just all the pressure that they just kept on applying, unable to really give a break to CocoWoomy. Inkception was just like, all right, let's take this Rainmaker, zoom it right down. Like, CocoWoomy had a really good stop with the Burst Bomb kill, as we saw early on, when Inkception tried to make a really quick push, but unable to hold on to it. Let's see what happens here. This is going to be a more of a slower pace type of map mode here for Acclaimed Humpback Pump Track.
Yeah, it definitely should be, and that's gonna work a little bit to CocoWoomy's advantage here, as they really had no time there to respond. So at least with Clamblit's Humpback Pump Track, there's going to be a little bit more opportunity for them to put together a defensive stop and get themselves back in the game. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into game number 2 here. CocoWoomy looking for a response. Vapor, let's take a look at these comps.
Ooh, that Dynamo roller coming out, and that is Okay, I don't know what I'm more interested in now, the Dynamo coming out or the golden arrow spray. Okay. Well,
I'm gonna go with the golden arrow spray.
Yeah, I am really interested to see what this air spray can do. I'm pretty sure that is light baller, sprinkler. It can grind up those specials really quickly. Expect a lot of baller pushes coming out from the side of Inkception. But early on here, CocoWoomy just shutting down 2 members early.
Yeah, CocoWoomy definitely starting to play this game a lot better than they had in that Rainmaker Manta game. It's already, you know, they're getting a few more picks than I think that they might have gotten in that last one. At the very least, getting some more trades. They did have a numbers advantage there for a moment at least. So they're doing a good job of just maintaining a fair bit of control of mid and giving themselves some opportunities to, you know, find some clans and hopefully work their way towards a push in the next minute or so. But as of right now, this really seems to be a bit of a stalemate.
It really much is going to be a stalemate, at least until we see a pick come out, the K-Pro rushing into mid, but not pushing as none of their team members are with them. Mew here on the sap getting picked off by Hatchet. What a shot. Splashdown coming out. That is going to be a double there, shutting down any type of opportunity CocoWoomy had. Inkception starting off with a quick score here. We are just over a minute and a half in.
Yeah, and I think that might have been a little bit of an antsy play there by Inkception. They sort of brute forced that push, and they're going to get only a 1+1 situation here. And look at CocoWoomy now with 28 clans in their pockets, but they are going to lose 2 of their members. So Inkception actually going to respond pretty well defensively. But this definitely could be a lot worse as they still have 17 clans in their pocket and the pressure is on.
Especially with the golden air spray just basically right in your base. But on the other side, that's going to be the Dynamo going in the power clam plus another power clam jump. The Squeezer throwing out bubbles, trying to protect themselves from any kind of incoming threat, being that mini Splatling. Going to be the end of that push. 2 power clams in, not too bad. It gives them the lead, they just have to hold their line.
Yeah, the only issue is that I think with just 1 power clam and a couple on top of that, Inkception can really get this lead back pretty easily. So CocoWoomy really gonna have to try their hardest here to hold the defensive lines down, but that's gonna be 2 down on either side, and it's gonna be Lutsy that's gonna be climbing up this side to put a few clams in the basket, but no, gets shut down. And that's going to be it for that push. A huge defensive stop there from CocoWoomy to maintain this lead.
Yeah, holding that lead, not allowing many points to go in favor of Inkception, but we saw how that line was held. Let's see if they could just hold this line. Don't let them get close if you can, but it's going to be really hard for that if the members of Inkception push in with that Inkjet. One member ends up going down with these bubbles, shutting everything down as well, leaving that mini fighting last one alive, getting picked off. No more additional points there, but look at, let's see here, throwing in some more clans paired up with their team, and all the way down to 41 remaining before finally getting wiped in favor of CocoWoomy.
That could have been worse. It definitely could have been worse. So CocoWoomy right now with 3 power clans to work with, and this is more than enough to get that lead back. But the issue is that they're gonna have to find their way towards the basket. That Booyah Bomb gonna find 2. A huge 2-for-1 trade there for CocoWoomy, and it looks like they're going to be trying to swing this around the elbow. At least one player is, and they're going to probably take a 2-front approach here. But no! They end up both just collapsing into that that trench there, and gonna get shut down completely. 3 down now on the side of CocoWoomy, and that's going to be a delayed wipe. And this is spelling major trouble for CocoWoomy with 30 seconds to play as Inkception is working their way towards that basket, and they might try to add even more points to the board.
I think CocoWoomy's game plan there was to drop down together and just full force through that trench area. but with that one member ending up going down, the other member already dropped to try to help. So it was just a little bit too late, unable to capitalize anything there. But one down on each side, that is going to be game. And what a game indeed, Inkception. It was pretty close. It was not a blowout like we saw earlier.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we had anticipated. It was a lot more back and forth. The pace was slow enough to where neither team was really going to push out to a huge advantage early on. So definitely worked to CocoWoomy's favor a little bit to just at least keep themselves in the game, and they saw a couple of leads there. So they just weren't able to hold on, and I think that's really just a product of Inkception still being such a strong aggressor and maintaining a lot of that pressure throughout the game.
Yeah, like Inkception, as you said, keeps that pressure up, and it's going to be harder to keep up a lot of pressure, but it is going to be easier to create a lockout, at least here for Splat on Sturgeon Shipyard, which is what we are going to be heading to next. But in the long run, we saw bubbles come out, we saw the baller on the gold Aerospray. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another Aerospray come out here. Maybe silver Aerospray, curling rush right over the zone, basically sweeps across, leaves the other team unable to get onto it.
I know there's a few people out there that would be very, very happy to see that trifecta of Aerosprays come out. You don't see it often. But you know, when you do, it definitely becomes the talking point of the town. So it'll be interesting to see if that's actually a play that they make here. But I think something that is also worth noting is that with Sturgeon zones, it is possible to sort of get a lockout going. It definitely can be tricky because there's so many different ways to approach the zone, but a lockout is possible nonetheless if you're able to just push up that far enough after getting a wipe. And that's something that CocoWoomy's gonna have to be aware of here because they've gotten wiped a few times. But with that said, these comps.
Yeah, no silver Aerospray, but we do see that bronze Aerospray Booyah Bomb coming right back out. But I am also interested in this crack on roller coming out from Inkception here. Having those beacons, I didn't see if they had any sub power up to boost the speed of those jump-ins, but here early on, Evelyn on this K-roller for CocoWoomy getting taken down, that is going to be a delay to wipe actually in favor of Inkception. And look at this map, it is all purple. Booyah Bomb getting popped up, and any type of lockout, as you did say, is going to be hard to get out of.
Yeah, that's exactly what CocoWoomy needed to avoid right there. But at the very least, it seems like they're finding their way back towards the zone, and they at least got to pick on that junior there. And starting to get this back to neutral a little bit, but they cannot afford losing another wipe here, and it's just Evelyn with that Kensa roller, and it looks like they're going to have to be a little bit patient here. They're going to get this real close to a knockout, but they can't make any silly mistakes here. But it looks like they're just jumping in at this point, and this is not going to work for CocoWoomy.
Unable to get back in, and it was the lockout that mattered. Miu tried to go around that left side at the end, unable to get enough paint onto the zone. Unfortunate game there, Inkception taking this one with a breeze.
Yeah, that's going to be a clean 3-0 knockout for Inkception, which gets them on the right foot here in day one of Low Ink. And they're going to be setting themselves up for some good things later on. But it isn't over for CocoWoomy. You know, it's just one little misstep. They definitely have 5 more opportunities to find themselves in one of these brackets. So, you know, got to just recollect yourself and set up for the next round.
Yeah, welcome to Swiss, the necessary evil, as people say. So, it's not over if you lose 1 or 2, or even 3, if in that matter. Anyone can make a bracket if you just put your mind to it.
Yeah, you really can. So, it really, you know, is going to be a product of making the adjustments across the various rounds. So we'll just have to keep an eye on the brackets and see where these teams land later on. But congrats to Inkception for that game or round 1 victory. And I believe with that said, we're going to go ahead and hop over to a little bit of a break. So stay tuned for more Low Ink action.
The fat cat hasn't sung yet, so it's not quite over yet.
I didn't call it over yet. I learned my lesson with the last one. It looks like a bomb rushers might be able to neutralize it. No, they did not.
Just barely. This time it was over. You should have said something, Kraken. We'd have more to pop as my opposite just paints up.
Yeah, paint key here. A lot of wide areas, a lot of areas to try to shark. You can see that sploosh on the other team tried to shark. Ooh, MPU!
Oh, that's three! They're going for the quad! They got the quad! They got him!
Too far, but the 52 is with them, and that wall is going to stop any sort of kicks that's happening. The missiles do find one, but I don't think there's nearly enough time to get to the zone as well. Toad might have something to say about it, though. Getting a great pick on the zone, and that Junior is the one and only weapon that really has the painting output. That's a fantastic.
When you're the one trying to break out of a lockout.
Yeah, rain can be very, very strong here, especially if you know that the opponent is trying to set up. And as you saw right there, it plays at a very effective range from its own side of the map. And how about that? What a statement here to start off the game, Bob Gun. Get it again! Yes!
Clip it!
Out. And the Rapidu, the only one that really had the opportunity in terms of range, and it goes down. And the Booyah Bomb goes down, that I just pointed out, Helen. It is a 1v1.
It is a 1v1 for the moment, but to jump in for Glitter Gel Pens, giving them a much better numbers. But the suction bomb on the tower.
This is the part of Rainmaker where it really gets silly. We pop, we try to get points. Some of the most skillful maneuvering of the Rainmaker I've seen, surviving 3 specials, rotating back down, and you know, oftentimes we say diving after the Rainmaker, not really a good spot as they take the lead again. We said we get silly. Look at this, moving all the way through. Is this a dunk? Unreal!
7 at a high level. Those two weapons are about as far from each other as it could possibly get. But now you got 3 specials ready. You got a splashdown. You got a hammer ready to go by Corona, who's trying to get in a good spot here. It's a double! Smacks in the face, and that's going to be lead. Although not a huge one. This hammer could shut down everything. That hammer saved well, they sacrificed 1 armor to do it, so a monkey paw curls. But, okay, I like the remix. This is a remix playground, and I'm sure they're aware there's a person just standing there waiting patiently for the armor, still not going in. They have to know you're there. They're staring right at you. Get rid of penalty points, and Crack United will force a game 3. The ball point goes down yet again. That ball point is going in. Now it's all out rush for the left side of the zone, and now we're seeing bodies flying all over the place. 2 more players going down, make that 3 for the side of Crack United, and who's the last player standing? It's the Squeezer.
Welcome back, everybody, to Low Ink. We are here in round number 2, and we have yet another fantastic matchup for you all. We've got Neon Slick taking on Splatalot. Oh man, we got one of the Splatalot teams here.
Yeah, let's go. One of the 3 Splatalot teams we have here playing this weekend. We have Splatalot A, Splatalot F, and Splatalot J. This time around, having Splatalot F on stream going up against Neon Slick, as you said. But I'm interested to see how these teams do against each other, especially starting out with our first map mode combination of Tower Control on the Reef. DRF, you play sloshers, so tell us a little bit about this stage.
I mean, sloshes are alright here.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those map mode combos where I think there's actually quite a few weapons that work fairly well. Sloshers can definitely work in some key positions here if either team is able to bring one of those out. But I definitely think there's a high variety that you could possibly work with here. I think, the thing that's a lot more important is how you position yourself, especially because after that first checkpoint, around that tree is just a lot of free points. So if there's really only one way to stop that, and that's either A, you get behind a tower somehow, which you really have to do way in advance, or B, you start to play that side alley past the car coming out of spawn. So there's only one or two ways if you really got to stop that, but otherwise those are just free points, and you really should just get yourself set up to make sure they don't get that second checkpoint.
Yeah, tower moves up, moves away from your spawn. So it's like, you need to try to get control of that bridge early on. If you get control of that bridge, you can basically control the whole stage. So just getting control of that bridge allows you to get control of that tower. We see a CJ double try slosher, another slosher on top of that. As slosher players, we're not disappointed.
I almost choked on my cake while seeing that one come out. I was not expecting the double try DeVoe here. It's definitely a pretty interesting pick here, and one that you won't see a whole lot of. So definitely time will tell if that will pay dividends. But I'm definitely a fan of the pick.
Stingray coming out early, pairing up with their teammates, finding 2 members of Neon Slick. And this is going to be Splatalot F with this early tower control and pushing this first checkpoint already. Void on that B-Jet on top of that bridge. It's going to be hard to move them out of this position as well. Trig finding one, another jump going up into that upper left closed area. And just like that, we are already at the second checkpoint for Splatalot F. Stingray coming out, Armor's coming out as well. This second checkpoint is more than likely going to drop unless Andro has something to say about that.
Oh, and they do grab it right on time before that checkpoint. It does reset. So they only have to go through what was remaining there, and they are able to break through that second checkpoint. But they do go 2 down. And that's kind of just, that's exactly that key position that we were talking about. If you can get to that second checkpoint, you're looking in pretty good shape, but Neon Slick stopped them exactly where they needed to. It's okay to let some of those points go, but I think the key loss here is letting that second checkpoint go, and that's a few points too many from what they should have let happen.
Yeah, that second checkpoint is hard to get to in the first place. If you get a wipe on the other team, okay, cool, you get that first checkpoint basically for free, but if the other team comes around that closed area, you need to play your A game, basically. Power going right back in favor of Neon Slick. 2 down on each side, make that 3 down for Neon Slick there. Boy coming out on top of that, holding this left tree. But with Stingray ready, we could see another push come out here really quickly.
Yeah, and here it comes. That Stingray gonna be leading the way for the tower. I love that they actually brought that Stingray and they played it from behind the tower, so that way it just sort of opens up the pathway there. And it does a good job of bringing them just about to where they had left off, but they're going to be pretty heavily contested here now, and going to be seeing a couple of trades, a double trade there, that is. And so this tower will reset, but not a bad push though nonetheless from Splatalot F to maintain that pressure and get that tower back to where they had left off, despite not getting any more points on the board.
Yeah, it's just a pressure game. That's basically what I like to play Splatoon as, a pressure game. And with Stingray, you can apply a lot of pressure, plus suction bombs, finding a pick there. That is 2 down for Neon Slick, make that 3. And Splatalot F is looking nice and pretty here on top of this bridge, and could possibly even find the C-Jet if Neon Slick isn't careful.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job here, just starting to push up a little bit more now and making it more difficult for Neon Slick to even get back towards that bridge, as they now go 2 down yet again. And this tower, once again, almost getting all the way back to where Splatalot F had left it, but it's going to reset after a nice stop there. And this is the point where Splatalot F is going to have a lot of complications trying to get more points on the board, but at the very least, they can maintain this position of the tower and just make it really difficult for Neon Slick to get a chance to take it coast to coast.
Yeah, and with 1 down on the side of Neon Slick, it is going to be hard to stop this push, but Andro is just holding that ramp, not allowing anyone from Splatalot F to get up it, finding a pick there. Storm isn't ready to go. Here comes out the Storm. And just like that, that push is going to at least slow down misses coming out for Ender here. And just trying to control this bridge right back. That bridge control is definitely what Neon Slick needs. And if they can even get up into their opponent's street area, that would also be actually very good.
Yeah, definitely agree with that, and it looks like Neon Slick is going to find themselves an opportunity to put some more points on the board, able to get 2 down, and that's going to be huge for Neon Slick, but they need to preserve their life here, as they are having a little bit of difficulty with Void on that C-Jet, but I think Void should have actually maintained a little bit more pressure there. I think they're going to actually back up, though, to hold this Stingray for these closing seconds, which is just as good of an idea, actually. And here it should be coming now. And there it is, trying to shut this down. The GG Ray able to get one. Are they able to get second? Yes, they are. And Splatalot F will jump on the tower right on time to preserve the lead and the victory here in game number 1.
What a team coordination play that was for Splatalot F. We saw that Stingray come in from the front end, but from the side, there were 2 members of Splatalot F. One dived into that tower. If the Slosher didn't get the pick on the tower with that Ray, and the Slosher ended up going down, there was still another person to follow up. So that is still a really good play, even though it wasn't a complete pincer play. It was still really good coordination by Splatalot F.
And the patience as well. They managed to just keep their composure and wait for the right opportunity. They knew they had about 30 points to work with, and they let at least half of that go there. So they definitely started to make it a little bit of a closer call. But they knew exactly what they were doing, and it paid off, and they took game number 1 there pretty handedly, despite the score being a little bit close there in the end.
Yeah, but hey, if you get the job done, you get the job done. Good play by Splatalot F again. And for Neon Slick, though, playing for your survivability is definitely going to be key, as well as keeping that aggression up. Snapper Canal Rainmaker is going to be the map mode combination, and this game can last a full 6 minutes with that overtime timer, or it could even last maybe even 30 seconds. It can go basically either way.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one. This is either going to be really fast or just a back and forth bloodbath, really. So we will have to see what ends up happening here, but it'll be interesting to also see what sort of comps they bring. I definitely think that CJ will probably stick around just for the purpose of this being Rainmaker. It's a fantastic pick. We did see quite a few sloshers on either side, and I think they could both still work here. I'm not sold by that double Trinavo, so I would love to see possibly a slight pivot there, give themselves a few more options. Although the rain is not bad, especially when you're trying to push on that far side of the map and up the walls.
Ooh, that double Trinavo coming right back out here for Neon Slick. And we do see the C-Jet stick on same side. You call that out, but I'm also interested in this Nautilus and K-Pro combination for the side of Splatalot F. You don't see it too often, but snapper moment! Oh no!
Oh, that is unfortunate. Right as we were switching to that perspective as well. So very quickly though, Neon Slick is going to be picking up this Rainmaker and putting some points on the board. It looks like they're going to try to run this right down mid. Void right on cue with that Stingray is going to be able to find 1, make that 2, and that's going to be 3 down on the side of Neon Slick. They did not get to go anywhere with that Rainmaker, putting 30 points on the board, but that's really not a whole lot, all things considered, for this map.
Yeah, Void having this Rainmaker, but be careful of that Slosher. That is going to be a full wipe on the side of Neon Slick, and Splatalot F just pushing right up this left side. This can be a knockout unless this Tri-Slosher has something to say, and that is going to be a full wipe on the side of Splatalot F, stopped by Andra and the other Tri-Slosher.
A fantastic stop there, but Splatalot F did exactly what they needed to do there, and that was just push that Rainmaker as quick and as fast as possible, get those points on the board, and they managed to bring it all the way to 31 remaining, and that is something that can hold on Snapper Canal. So they just need to put together a really strong defense, and that's going to be let off by the Stingray, shutting down the Rainmaker once again.
And the Stingray from Neon Slick just barely staying alive there thanks to Ender, but what a stop that was for Splatalot F. Ramen with this Inkjet finding a pick paired up with their teammate. That is 2 down for Neon Slick. and all of this pressure, Rainmaker shots, Inkjet shots, what else could go in their favor? Not the Gluga dualies finding the pick on the Rainmaker, though.
I'm surprised those Glugas managed to survive that Rainmaker shot. They got just out of the range right on time. And with that, that is going to be the end of this push yet again for Splatalot. So now it's going to be up to Neon Slick to try to find a couple of picks here, which they do, led off by Wilbur getting this double. They should be able to start pushing this Rainmaker up just a little bit, and hopefully just getting a lot of paint down, you know, on these slopes and earning at least a few more points on the board because they have a long way to go.
Yeah, Booyah Bomb almost finding the pick onto Tori TNG as well. And Ramen finding a pick onto Wilbur on the Tri-Slosher. So this push can still be heading forward for the members of Splatalot A, and just keeping it on that left side is going to be key. If you could get it all the way up into that upper left area, then it's going to be really hard to stop, to even shut down that Rainmaker or even get to it yourself. Stingray coming out, trying to find the pick onto the Rainmaker, but it's going to be Void staying alive. Busy bombs from these Glugas just being chucked out of existence towards that Rainmaker, finding a pick, but that's going to be Ender from behind, finding two members of Splatalot F. This is not over. We still have a minute and a half left.
Oh, but every time it seems like Neon Slick finds themselves in an advantageous position, getting a couple picks and hanging right around that Rainmaker, ready to push off. They end up just getting shut down time and time again. It just hasn't worked out for them quite yet, and they're gonna have about a minute here to find a few more picks and hopefully lead off another push here. But they're really gonna have to get a couple of those picks and establish some solid positioning, because I think they might, you know, get a little bit antsy when they get those picks, and it just all falls apart so quickly.
And that is going to be 3 down on each side. Wilbur just locked over into this hill area. And we didn't talk about it much beforehand, but controlling the hills is basically going to be key. It opens up a push anywhere. And Void with the Stingray, that GG Ray is online, ready to go here in the last 30 seconds. It is only the Tri-Sloshers from Respawn. And just not getting that Rainmaker, not popping it, would be best case scenario here, but they do pop it. Let's see what Splatalot F has in mind here, as this K-Pro finds one, going in for the Gluga dualies, just paying behind them, make sure they cannot escape. But that Rainmaker going to reset. There is not enough time to pop and grab this, but not with only 2 seconds on the clock. Splatalot F running away with game 2 here on Rainmaker Snapper Canal.
Oh man, that was so close. I think they were about a half second off from grabbing that Rainmaker and extending the match into overtime, but just a little bit late there as it resets, and their chances of coming back just fell apart. So a little bit unfortunate there. It is going to be Splatalot F that does take this set, with game number 2 giving them that 2-0 victory. But there's still one more game to be played. That is the beauty of Swiss with Play All 3.
Yeah, you gotta love Play All 3. It gives you more practice in the long run. And if you want to try something out, try it out. You have nothing to really lose other than a tiebreaker scenario if you're trying to go far into that alpha bracket, which who wouldn't? Welcome to Low Ink, everyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you're saying there's nothing to lose. I'm like, well, technically, you can lose the tiebreaker if you end up making some really poor adjustments there. So yes, this is a good opportunity to experiment a little bit, because the key thing is that you're not going to get the set victory. So there is a little more flexibility, but those percentages, when it comes to just overall win percentage and I guess opponent win percentage and stuff like that as you progress forward as well, those are all little things that matter. So yes, experiment, but definitely you're not going out with just, hey, whatever happens mentality with this.
Yeah. For sure. Right, we're going to be heading over to Clambless Inkblot Art Academy. We saw a few rollers earlier in the stream. We saw sloshers this time around. Rollers, sloshers, you could get some really good sneaky ledge camps right onto the very edge of that plat, or even up into the bats area if you could get behind that basket around that left side. So, hey, I'm interested to see what happens here. Clamblitz, team coordination. Let's see what happens here. Pulling out that custom Hydra, switching off that custom Death Squelcher, VJack coming out from Void this time around.
I think of all of the maps that this double Trinavo would work, I think this is their best bet for Neon Slick. The rain works much better trying to rain across that enemy plat, and it'll help them establish a little bit more control. So it definitely will work a little more to their advantage. Although the Hydra's VJ combo is also another thing to be discussed.
Oh, I mean, it could be a blessing and a curse at the same time. Slow backline. The only really aggression you really have is the Tri-Slosher. So unless we see like a midline VJet, I'm honestly really interested to see how Neon Slick plays with this.
Yeah, it's such a almost a bit of a head-scratching combination, but it's one that makes tournaments like Low Ink so exciting because if I had to put together a comp and give you the most unexpected comp that I think I would have seen, I would not have given you this. This is more unexpected.
Woo! Fall-off shot from Ender, finding the Void, and that was a really good pick. Shuts down any possible momentum that Splatalot F had going in for a push. But one thing for Neon Slick that works with this comp is the defense. It shuts down basically any push, and it forces the members of Splatalot F to just rush into them or play ultra passive, where this is going to be a really low-scoring game if that's the case.
And that tends to be the case here with Clamblitz on Inkblot Art Academy. It can take 2, 3, sometimes 4 minutes before the first push even happens. And that's totally normal. It's just a matter of making sure you're patient, keep your numbers up, and just preserving your life, giving yourself the opportunity to, make your way towards the basket, because it definitely could be a little bit of tight calls here. This is gonna be a wipe. Splatalot F finding their way towards this basket now, and the clams are piling in. Oh, just over 2 minutes into this game, and they're all the way down to 32 remaining. They still got more, though, bringing it to 20 remaining. They're going to be grabbing clams off of their bats as well. And this push is not over. Things are falling apart real quickly for Neon Slick as Splatalot F has enough clams to secure the knockout here. Can they get them in time? Yes, they will. 100-0 push for Splatalot F to take game number 3.
Very, very strong and spicy push for Splatalot F. All they needed was one breakthrough. Just get that Hydra down, get that Jet Squelcher down, make sure the try is not in your way. You basically have a free push right there. It is going to be really hard to push back in with very long range and slow weapons.
Yeah, it definitely, I think, was an interesting comp to try to run here. It just did not pay out for them. And like we said with Clamblitz on Inkblot, it's very slow at the start, but when you break through, the floodgates sometimes can open like they just did. And wow, that was a really good push.
It really was a huge push, and Splatalot F just took advantage of the comp Neon Slick had. Like, yeah, the double Tri-Slosher can work really well, but it can't really work as well as you want it to do if you can't get those Tri-Sloshers set up on your opponent's plat, right under your opponent's plat's ledge, and without much aggression elsewhere. It's not easy to push up onto your opponent's plat, even if you get your Tri-Slosher under that ledge.
Yeah, so a good match though nonetheless between these two. So it's sometimes you kind of just wish a couple of things could have been different for a team like Neon Slick that had a couple of opportunities there and just weren't able to see those dividends pay out.
Yeah, and hey, there is more to see. Let's see how Neon Slick works on comps and how they improve later on in the future. But that's going to be it for round 2. We will be back here with round 3 in just a few moments. Don't change the channel. We'll be right back with Low Ink, Day 1 of June 2022.
Booyah Bob. That is going to stop as well.
That's going to be game there, Hoenn, unless some magic happens here. He's just there in a bad position. They might get neutral.
Oh, they get the stop. They get the stop. They get a pick. They get 2 picks. And they take the zone. It's not over till it's over.
I was chatting with a very strong ballpoint Nouveau player who said, yeah, it doesn't have a special, it just has an ink refill. I just want to keep using its main weapon, and you can see why. And still pushing in here, Agent Octo's going to get a chance for a flank. Get 3! Has about another 4. This might be game already. They're going to have at least 1 special.
But Pickup should be thrilled that it's only 59 remaining. They got all 4 of their specials ready to go, and trying to get control of the enemy bunker is Plasma yet again, being just a nuisance with this Blue 7. Takes a bad turn, somehow corrects though, is able to get 2 players down. Should have been splatted along the right side. The monkey's going to get lead.
Hello? But however, they do have the tower pushing. They got the Booyah Bomb to come out, missiles coming out. Now they're pushing together. It was a sacrifice worth being made as lead could be contested here.
That's the right tower is so close to getting look at the nice triple. Look at the nice triple from the squeezer to the timer delay Pufferfish's potential push and make it even more difficult.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really all that Marine Melody needs to do at this point is, slowly take time off the clock. They don't need to make a hero play at this point. They are 2 down, so they do need to play some defense. Oh, the Nautilus decides to take a little...
Not as many armors as you would get with a spammy weapon, but you can bet those armors will be used well. We've got the fizzies as well on that kit, so that's going to be really, really nice for making paths and clearing the area. Already, though, we've got Clownfish here taking a pretty aggressive style. This try here, getting a nice double over these ledges, getting a triple. What a way to start off.
And the Squeezer with the first pick of the game after like a minute
into the game. That's crazy. Again, just shows how both of these teams are now figuring out each other's playstyle. They want to be really careful with this.
Hold on. How? How do people get away with these?
high level. Those two weapons are about as far from each other as you could possibly get. But now you got 3 specials ready. You got a splashdown. You got a hammer ready to go by Corona, who's trying to get in a good spot here. It's a double! Smacks in the face, and that's going to be lead. Although not a huge one. This hammer could shut down everything. That hammer saved
the Nautilus is installed, and since they took the lead, that is what they wanted the entire
And it's a
time.
wipe.
It is a wipe. They're going on the home stretch here. It's just the Swift are left alive. The Ray's coming out. Do they have the tower secured? It's just the.
He needs to get down. He needs to get down. Oh, where's Adam? Adam's going to be jumping out.
And the Squeezer with the first pick of the game after like a minute.
A minute into the game. That's crazy. Again, just shows how both of these teams are now figuring out each other's playstyle. They want to be really careful with this.
Hold on. How do people get away with these?
And, well, they sacrificed 1 armor to do it, so the monkey paw curls. But, okay, I like the remix. This is a remix playground, and I'm sure they're aware there's a person just standing there waiting patiently for the armor, still not going with it. They have to know you're there. They're staring right at you.
This is the part of Rainmaker where it really gets silly. We pop, we try to get points. Some of the most skillful maneuvering of the Rainmaker I've seen, surviving 3 specials, rotating back down, and oftentimes we say diving after the Rainmaker, not really a good spot as they take the lead again. We said it would get silly. Look at this, moving all the way through. Is this a dunk? Unreal! I was chatting with a very strong ballpoint Devo player who said, yeah, it doesn't have a special, it just has an ink refill. I just want to keep using its main weapon, and you can see why. And still pushing in here, Agent Octo's gonna get a chance for a flank, get 3, has about another 4, this might be game already. They're gonna have at least 1 special.
Sommerzeituhrenumstellung?
Sommerzeituhrenumstellung.
Alright, close enough. Welcome back, everyone, to Low Ink Day 1. We are having Sommerzeituhrenumstellung, or, I am...
Sommerzeit for short.
Yeah, there we go. Against Infinity. Welcome back to day 1 of Low Ink with our round 3 matchup between these two teams. And our just Sommerzeit will probably do for that.
Yeah, I sometimes I wonder if IPL, you know, just loves to set me up with so much. I think this is probably the third time I've gotten to commentate them. But we have got an opportunity to see them before and past Low Inks, and Infinity is also a team that's you know, kind of just on the up and up here. Just, you know, constantly improving throughout the past couple of months. So I think this should provide a pretty exciting matchup.
Yeah, I am personally excited for this. We've seen these teams before. They've been grinding, and we're here in June 2022. There is not much time left for Splatoon 2 Low Ink. So, gotta win out soon, or just wait out for Splatoon 3 and start grinding with the team. But we're gonna start off here on Splatzone's Starfish main stage, though.
Yeah, Splatzone's Starfish main stage. Definitely one of those map mode combinations where you do not want to get wiped. That is the worst case scenario because it takes some time to get back into the zones. And if you do get wiped, that's going to be a quick 30, 40, maybe even 50 points for the opposition. So you definitely want to be careful there. Pick your fights wisely and shark when you need to.
Yeah, like shark when you need to. As you say, sloshers can be really good on the stage, especially by those ramp areas just outside of the zone, as we see a tri-slosher come out for Sommerzeit here. But This is going to be really close. No Splatlings, which I'm somewhat surprised with this really good Splatling mech, but you gotta watch out for that flank right away, as I'm pretty sure that top Pentatech is trying to go around that right side.
Yeah, and actually, to note here, I believe the K-Pro on either side is the longest range weapon in this lobby. So no true backlines to work with here, as these teams are going to be really focusing on the aggression here and being able to get some of those picks and put paint down. That seems to be the key for both of them.
Yeah, put paint down. We see Junior, we see Splash coming out from the side of Sommerzeit, and just like that Panda getting picked off in that Inkjet, trying to paint up onto the zone. 2 members going down for Infinity here, and zone flipping back in favor of Sommerzeit, and missiles coming out. Not much going on other than just paint zone, trying to zone people out. Panda up into this corner here. Not really much they can really do right now other than just shark and wait.
Oh, but look at this. They're going to go, that's going to be Stan goes ahead and makes that jump to pick off that Octo shot. And this is going to be a pretty solid hold here for Sommerzeit, as they brought this all the way down to 40 remaining, and this Booyah Bomb going to try to neutralize this zone. But they're doing an excellent job of just trying to paint through it, but it's not going to be able to stay in their favor, as Infinity is able to flip the zone and get a pick on top of that. If they can find themselves another pick here, they could have a really solid hold.
Ooh, and they find another Panda on that Inkjet, finding a few picks themselves, and it's only the Junior backed up around that snipe area. So gotta be careful about that. That's actually the K shot, not Junior. But same idea still. You gotta be patient, don't want to get dropped on. Panda finds a 2-for-1 trade there, but with this lead flipping, there is not going to be much time. 2 members of Infinity on this zone, less than 30 points remaining.
And we're also seeing the product of flat zones on Starfish main stage here. That's a wipe, and Infinity's gonna win this game with 10 points remaining, and nobody from Sommerzeit able to get to this zone anytime soon. And as I was trying to finish that thought there, we are actively seeing the product of flat zones on Starfish main stage, where it can be just so difficult to get back into the zone, and it was a very high scoring game. We were not even halfway into that game, and both teams were under 35 remaining. So, you know, it was a very quick game, back and forth though, but very, very quick.
Yeah, and Starfish is always such a quick map mode combination to play on. Like, you either last basically the whole time, always in neutral for the whole game, or one team just gets a complete lockout. Once you get past that little ramp area right next to the zone, it's basically almost a free lockout, like it really is on Sturgeon. And speaking of Sturgeon Shipyard, we are heading right over to there on tower control.
Okay. So, I think this one will definitely slow these teams down just a little bit more than that Splat Zone Starfish stage did. So, you know, you have multiple checkpoints to work with. There's plenty of opportunities to get that stop. But of course, that third or second checkpoint is going to be absolutely key. So that's that. You don't really want to let much of that second checkpoint slip, because then that's when things start to snowball out of control and it can just become an absolute mess. So definitely, you know, play it a little bit slower here and make sure you get those key stops right between checkpoint 1 and 2.
Yeah, and well, why say second or third checkpoint when you could just say middle or last checkpoint? So, I mean, same difference. This is a 2 checkpoint stage here, so just holding that tower, if you could get that second checkpoint, that will be a win condition for whoever wins this game. But based on the comps we saw there on Splat Zone Starfish, this might be a really fast-paced game with some fast weapons.
Ooh, and a couple of interesting adjustments here as well, particularly out of Sommerzeit, as that is an L3, I believe?
Yeah, L3D, that has Burst Bomb and Inkjet, but it also puts down a lot of pain for Slayer support-ish weapon. So don't slack on it, and it can pair up really well with that not Inkjet, but Jet Squelcher with missiles and Toxic Mist, throw some mist down, pop your Inkjet. It's also why Vanilla Ballpoint can be so good with its kit, but it just doesn't thrive with that main weapon. But here, Panda, right underneath this bridge, having that Inkjet ready, here comes that Jet, trying to find a pick onto this shot, and finds one on the L3D. Inkjet going to recall that is 2 down on the side of Sommerzeit, and just like that, Infinity trying to push this tower, but no, that's going to be a bomb from Stan shutting that down.
This game is already a lot slower paced than game number 1, and I think that's perfectly fine for both of these teams here, as they're really trying to be a little bit more strategic about getting these picks. It's going to be a lot harder to push up as well, so you're not really going to be getting a solid lockout here. And with that said, though, it is Infinity that is working their way towards that first checkpoint. But with 2 down, though, they're going to try to brute force their way through this checkpoint, and it looks like they will, right on time, as they get shut down. But they got that first checkpoint, which is a huge, huge advantage for them moving forward through the rest of this game.
Yeah, and now they don't have to wait through that checkpoint, which they would have had to before, so really huge grab there for the checkpoint, especially with a 15 count for it. So getting past it actually huge, gives them a huge lead here early on. But look at Sommerzeit, Inkjet coming out, and all of this pressure, almost finding a pick there with Inkjet just outside of range. But the Tri-Slosher on the snipe getting picked off, lead going to flip right over in favor of Sommerzeit. And with 3 members going down, that Jet Sculpture's last one alive, going to be forced to back all the way up.
Yeah, and luckily, I'm surprised they managed to stay alive there, because they had 4 members of Infinity collapsing in on them, but they managed to get away, and I believe pop some missiles there as well. So that's going to do wonders for them as they try to maintain a little bit of pressure here, but with that Tri-Slosher going down, that is going to be the leads exchanging over in Infinity's favor. They're starting to approach that second checkpoint, but they lose their numbers advantage here, and it looks like Infinity's just going to play all in on this pressure, and they are not going to be in a good situation here, as that is going to be a delayed wipe. And now that buys Sommerzeit a little bit of time to get some control back in mid and start putting points back up on the board, possibly looking to take the lead here.
Yeah, but you have to watch the Caper on this right side. They can go around for a flank at any time, or can drop on this Tri-Slosher. That works too, unable to find the pick there. But this tower is moving, paired up with that Inkjet. It can go in either way here. Checkpoint does end up going, or not checkpoint, but lead. What was that? Oh my,
Oh, bomb for bomb, double for double. Wow, what a quick turn of events there for both Sommerzeit and Infinity. Sommerzeit bringing that all the way down to 30 remaining, got a beautiful double there, and possibly we're looking to get more, but the bomb in exchange from Infinity was such a clutch stop to shut down that push, and that now gives Infinity an opportunity here to work their way back towards the mid and start pushing up again, especially with Sommerzeit 2 down right now.
Yeah, and with Infinity going 1 down, so, and 1 down on each side actually, this can still go either way, pushing for this lead. 1 point off. That's going to be another trade here. Panda on this tower. And still unable to get the lead. They tied up the score. It's only the Junior on the tower, unable to win the 1v1. We are heading into these last 30 seconds, and this is a 1-point game.
Oh my goodness. Wow, what a sequence of events here between these 2 teams. We are closing in on the final seconds here, and right now, Infinity's the one that needs to make the play. Sommerzeit needs to just build up those specials and hold on to this tower. Don't let them get this push going, but you need to play it smart, as the missiles are going to take out 1 member. the tower's gonna be pushing forward, but multiple people jumping on this tower. 5 people on the tower, 3 people down inside of Infinity. That's gonna be a wipe.
Wow.
Sommerzeit survives game number 2, tying it up 1-1.
Oh my goodness. But who's the real winner here? Infinity got all the way with 69 points on the board. Nice, am I right?
Oh my gosh. Oh no, Vapor.
Oh god. Hey, I mean, we're heading into a meaningful game 3 after all. Rainmaker on Anchovy Games.
Oh no! I'm gonna go ahead and say that Sommerzeit was probably the winner there. Despite what you may think. But this does give us a very close set here. I mean, Infinity ran away with game number 1 there. Sommerzeit having to clutch out in game number 2, but I think that was a little bit more expected here, as you know, game number 1 Splatoon Starfish was just a much more fast-paced map. It's so difficult to get back into that zone, and if you go all down, good luck. But with Tower Control Sturgeon, a lot more of a healthy back and forth match there that really could have gone either way if one little thing had gone different in that game. So, but now with Rainmaker Anchovy, another slightly unconventional map mode, similar to Splatoon Starfish, where you have to be really careful here because things can get out of control really easily if you aren't maintaining the right positions.
Yeah, for sure. That wall area is going to be a crucial stopping point for the team on defense. If you could get onto that wall, you could basically hit the Rainmaker when they try to push in and just get onto the plat into your core area. So getting into that position is definitely going to be key for defense and even for offense. If you have an Inkjet weapon, just Inkjet over the wall, remove all opponents from that area. Well, let's see what happens here as we see a Sploosh-O-Matic 7 come out from Sommerzeit.
Ooh, yes. This has sort of become a glowing staple on Rainmaker. I feel like we can't get a Rainmaker game without a Sploosh 7 appearing at some point. So definitely gonna be pretty interesting to see how that one works out for them. As I think utilizing that hammer can do wonders when trying to push on the plat of the opposing team.
Yeah, hammer almost ready. Armor is up in favor of Sommerzeit here. Hammer coming out is going to get a trade there, 1 down on each side, but make that 2 down on the side of Sommerzeit. Infinity having 3 members in their favor right now, and no one is picking up this Rainmaker as they try to push onto that plat.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit slow on the pickup there for Infinity. They could have had a really big push underway at this point, but they're going to have to play this one a little bit more conservatively as they do find themselves going 2 down, make that 3 down. Rainmaker's last one alive, and that's a wipe on the side of Infinity. A huge stop there by Sommerzeit, only letting 22 points slip. And are they thinking about taking this right side?
I mean, it's definitely a really good call if they aren't ready, but with all the members of Infinity out spawn, I am really questionable about this play as they go 3 down really quickly, unable to get any more than 10 points on the board. Missiles coming out, and Infinity is just going to rush this plat here with their Rainmaker.
Yeah, a little bit of a questionable call if they did manage to maintain the numbers there. I could have seen it working out, but now they're going to be paying for that decision here, as this is going to be a very quick push for Infinity, and they're going to start pushing this all the way down to only 72 remaining. A clutch couple of picks here by Eternal. Wow, only letting 6 more points slip, and we are just seeing wipe for wipe here, as each team that picks up this Rainmaker gets wiped to shut down the push, and the other team picks it up and tries to get a push and exchange going just as fast.
And we do see a lead flip in favor of Sommerzeit, but with 3 members down for Infinity, there is not much defense to go. Pushing up this Rainmaker all the way under 50 points remaining, and before getting shut down at 44. 2 members down on the side of Sommerzeit. Make that 3. It's only the Zap, last one alive, rushing back, keeping themselves alive and ready to go for any quick push that Infinity has.
Excellent call there by Grendo to preserve their life and back off, because now for the first time we are going to see a team that has a well-established defense going into the opposition's push here, but that's not going to actually matter after all, as that's going to be 3 down on the side of Sommerzeit, and this looks like a lead exchange possibly if they could just drop down, and here it is, all the way down to 30 remaining and some. Finally going to shut down this Rainmaker, plus getting another member of Infinity. So this push should be stalled here, and that's going to be a huge lead, though, for Infinity.
Getting all the way up to 23 remaining is actually huge. You don't see it that big of a push too often, but when you do, it is usually a winning push. But anything can go over here in Rainmaker. This mode can end in 30 seconds if you aren't ready. So with just over 70 seconds left to play, Rainmaker does end up getting picked off, and this is Infinity's turn for defense.
Yeah, Sommerzeit has this Rainmaker in a little bit of an interesting spot there, right on top of that wall. It looks like they are going to be in a position to grab it, but not be able to hold on to it as they do go 3 down yet again, under a minute to play. And Sommerzeit needs to just continue holding control of mid, and they don't need to force the picks yet. They just need a bit of map control to give themselves that chance to start pushing forward, and hopefully the picks will follow, and that'll lead to a big push for them.
But they need to somehow just get the members of Infinity out of their face, getting taken 3 down. Sommerzeit not looking in the bright situation, but we are heading into these last 20 seconds. There's not much more time left on the clock. Hammer ready. Almost no time to build up specials. They have to find a way to pop this Rainmaker, and Infinity is going to be ready for it.
Yeah, they're not pushing this Rainmaker pop fast enough, and they're going to go 2 down, and they are not close enough to this Rainmaker to grab it, but no, they do get it, but just for a second. Oh, wow, what a good missiles play, though, there by Infinity to ensure that that Rainmaker was not going to be grabbed. I think if someone said it was just maybe a second or 2 faster there to the grab, they could have also escaped the missiles as well, but Infinity read the situation, realized that they weren't going to be able to make that play fast enough, and were able to put a stop to it before it could even happen.
Yeah. What a game. Not just game. Not just what a game. What a set. Like, I am not disappointed with this set. It is a really good set. I am probably going to rewatch this set later because, like, oh my god, that was insane.
I agree. That was such a crazy set there. We got a little bit of everything out of these 2 teams, and they just matched up beautifully against one another. And just kudos to both teams here. Infinity going to be taking the 2-1 victory here, and that's going to put them at 2-1, putting them in a pretty good spot here to start hunting for that alpha bracket.
And everyone can start hunting for alpha bracket starting in round 4 as we head off for the day, DRF. So, well, hey, what a good set overall. I am excited to see what happens here in Swiss round 4. But as we head off, where can the viewers find you at?
Yeah, you can go ahead and find me on Twitter at DRF_Splatoon and on Twitch at TritonDRF. Vapor, how about yourself?
You guys can find me over at Twitter and Twitch at V4P0R_SPL. We would like to thank you guys for watching Low Ink June 2022. You guys are going to enjoy Falco and Gem on the mic. Coming up next with Swiss round 4. Stay tuned and don't change the channel.
side in the Nightmare right here and come back in overtime. Lois desperately trying to hold on. Saucy Boy has the missiles to work with, but they're running out of time. Overtime started with the basket open. Hayden going in, landing a splash down, not getting any splash. Access denied, running right through. Time runs out. Time runs out. They had it, but just didn't have enough time. Scoreboard, but the rest of the players for Lois are 13 remaining. They don't have any clams just yet, but Link is just destroying everybody, and that's going to cause enough time for the rest of the players to give those clams. Can they keep this basket open? They do, but then they don't. Nintendo, excuse me.
No,
regardless, they're losing the entire time anyway, so it's not like they got to change anything. And now they're taking the Rainmaker. They're trying to get leave. Toxic Mist coming out at the perfect time.
Jumps come in, and this hammer tries to stay alive for as long as possible. The Sploosh is trying to keep this Rainmaker from popping. They end up getting 3 down. They take the Rainmaker! I can't believe it! Here come the missiles, able to find people, scout it out, using this Rainmaker shot as cover. 2, and brings in the rest of AD behind him. They're going for it! They're trying to take it. They're perfect. But the hammer gets 3! The Sploosh stays alive. Hayden's still up.
Oh, you can't. No, you can't. I'm about to say you can't. Haunt them here. Look, only about 5 penalty points remaining. And there comes K around the right side. Are they going to be able to get the zone right back? It stalls. Nobody has been splatted just yet. It's a back and forth for the entire game. 2 players going down from Lois. 2 going down for Inksync now. And somehow, what a finish. Inksync wins game 1.
Still under fire. That's 3 down on the side of Shiver. So even though this one zone is taken, it's going to get neutralized again. And those penalty points are almost gone.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, they are hanging on.
This is tight.
They are painting the zone like their life depends on it. 2 seconds.
It's 3 down. They got this.
There we go.
They got that lead.
Do a missile, another missile kill ends up going down. Nether's not going to be able to fend off everyone, has to back up a little bit, and it's going to leave another Lois player to die. That's 30 seconds left on the clock, and not a lot of special points, nor a lot of man advantage on the side of Lois. But wait, they use some great plays, ends up going down to the propeller ink. It's only Gigas. 20 seconds left.
Welcome back to Low Ink June 2022, everybody. I am Jem, and I am joined here by Falco.
Hey Jem, how are you doing? We've been watching some wonderful games so far, and I'm happy to be on the mic with you today.
And I'm very happy that they gave me a little bit of a gift here, because I get to commentate over my own team. I play for Watorcolor. I'm the captain of that team. But they are competing here under Watorcolor Juniors because I'm banned from Low Ink and they're not. So I get to give you the extra insider information about how this is going to go down here.
Yeah,
no bias whatsoever on the comms. By the way, I will not at all be biased. That's totally an accurate statement.
Yeah, Jem signed the Low Ink NDA about that one, so we're pretty sure about that.
Yep, I'm contractually obligated to be as boring as possible about it. So
no, I mean, it's really cool though that you get to kind of like what you said, give us the insight about this team, and you still get to be a part of watching them too, and to see how they do, and especially after each game, kind of giving us the feedback and what to look forward to prior to each game. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the Watorcolor Junior players?
Absolutely. So Reborn, Femi, and Aplo are main members of the team, and then Bab is filling in for Pixar, who was not able to make it at the last minute, so Bab is B there. So we've played with Bab quite a bit. They're our most common sub, so it's not like there's no synergy there at all or anything like that, just a little bit of a roster change there from how we usually have it. Pixar is typically the support player. So I'm actually curious to see exactly, I think what we'll probably have is Reborn flexing onto support, because he plays that quite a bit. Let's see. Oh no, actually we've got Bab on the end zap. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it looks like Reborn is there on the K-Shot. And like, we're starting off with Clam Blitz on the Reef, which, you know, tends to just be a little bit of a slower pace, just trying to get a feel around the map and trying to control Bridge really early. And Sebrith is there to try and take some control and pick up some claims, but they're going to have to drop down. But they do have a one-player advantage, but it looks like Watorcolor Junior, they are pushing forward quite a bit.
They're forced to jump out there, so numbers are effectively even right now, and they're trying to really get control of Street here. That's a big objective for Watorcolor. Unfortunately, nobody helped Femi on the flank there. Paolo going in and taking Femi out, so 2v2 situation on the map. Looks like neither team really able to get a foothold yet. The fights have been pretty even trades so far, so that's good awareness on both teams, you know, seeing where they have a disadvantage and trading back when they're able to, when one of their teammates goes down. Ooh, and the Dapple's able to sneak in there for a pick on Aplo. Let's see if they can push into the rest of the street here. Oh, and able to get another one on Femi, so that's 2 down for Watorcolor. Need to make sure that Watorcolor doesn't stagger here. They're going to try and back up a little bit. Great support from Reborn to help them get out. And still not really enough clams on Pufferfish Party to stage a real push yet, especially since one of the players goes down there. And it's still back to this stalemate. They haven't really been able to move past Bridge so far, either team.
Yeah, I mean, Pufferfish, they're getting a little bit more map control right now, but like you said, they're not really picking up the claims. They don't have the player advantage, but they are applying the pressure. And as I say that, now Watorcolor Junior able to push forward now with Spark pushing up with the Inkjet, maybe trying to form a power claim, but Femi there now on the bridge to join them. They are applying some more pressure to, they have the Booyah Bomb ready, and now they have all of their players. But like you said, it's just kind of hard to kind of get these power claims situated when you don't have a ton of map control and don't have your team organized.
Yeah, Aplo, by the way, that is who that they go by Aplo and not Spark. They used the Inkjet, but it looked like teammates went down around them, and so the push didn't really lead to anything. There's a great pick from Pufferfish Party on Reborn, but another trade goes back. The armor comes out from Bab. Let's see if Watorcolor can move in and get something. Great pick there. Can they shred the Booyah? Not quite. The player might still go down. No, they actually drop back. Great play from Sebrith.
You know, it's not uncommon not to have a score 2.5 minutes into the game, but I don't even think a power claim has been formed yet. That's
really
something you don't even see very often at all. Just shows how close these two teams are fighting. But right now, Watorcolor Junior trying to apply some more pressure. They have 19 clams on their team, but no power claim ready. They're going to want to try and work that together, but Apollo now has 8 clams, and one of their members down below has some more too, and Reborn is going to try and push and support up the side. This looks like a good opportunity for Watercolor Jr.
Yeah, Aplo, they're using the Inkjet when they had most of the team's clams, so it might slow things down a little bit there, but they do have one made finally. Here's the armor. They're ready to start going in. It is a one-down situation for them, so they're at a slight numbers disadvantage. They really need to get something good going with this armor here. Great flank from Bab, takes one out. This might be the opportunity that they need. Watercolor pushing to the basket, and there goes a clam. Bab with a ton of follow-up ready to go, and the Booyah Bomb just hits a wall in front of them, I think. That didn't really have any impact at all.
Yeah, Booyah Bomb, it looked like maybe a missed opportunity or a miscalculation on where one of the Watercolor Junior players is going to go. But look at that, 41 on their opening push. And I mean, it just makes it that much more impactful when it happened 3.5 minutes into the game. Because you could say, okay, we can easily counter that. We have maybe almost all of the time left remaining. But no, there's only just about a minute left. And Pufferfish Party doing a good job getting some more map control. And I say that now they have their power claim form. They're able to score, but are their players in a good position to score?
Yeah, they did not have map control for that. That's one of those brush pushes that you see in solo queue, where the player goes in with the power clan and then the team just isn't able to get anything more because the brush moves faster than they do. You got to control that zone in front of the basket if you're going to go and try and score and get anything more than that power clan. So good defense from Watercolor, making sure that they controlled that zone effectively. They take out Sabrith, and they should have some control over the bridge. Oh, Bab goes down, but they get the trade. Maybe a little bit of spectator lag there or something. But didn't look like Bab got it, and then they got it. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so much battle right now at mid. And Watercolor Jr., they want to try and hold on to this lead. They want to try and control this bridge. But Aplo now trying to hold on and making sure nobody is going to be pushing up against this bridge. And we do see a Booyah Bomb on the side of Watercolor as well. With just about 5 seconds, they really have one route that they're now trying to take. But it looks like Sabrith is now going to try and use a Booyah Bomb to clear a path a little bit. Board is up there as well. Are they going to be able to score? No, they are going to go down, getting 1 pick, 2 picks down. Just 2 players alive now on Pufferfish Party.
Through on the flank. Oh, this is huge. They open the basket. There are other players in position to try and score. They only need 4 more clams, but I think Watercolor is going to be able to clamp down on this. They have 4 players in the way. This is going to be a heck of a dynamo flick if it's going to get rid of all of them. Yeah, great play from Sabrith at the end to try and keep things open, but in a 1v4, there's only so much you can do, even with a weapon that hits upper ledges like that. Great defense there at the end on the part of Watercolor. I really like seeing that we had players backing up once they realized that the numbers were not in their favor. Great job by Bab holding it down, you know, popping the armors at the times that they need them. And it was a little bit hairier maybe than they would have wanted it at the end, with a couple of power clams going in there. But as soon as those power clams went in, you know, Watercolor knew exactly where all of the other players were, and they were able to stop the last few clams from scoring. So I was holding my breath there a little bit at the end, not gonna lie, but we held it down. It was a good job.
Yeah, I mean, Pufferfish Party, that last power claim that went in, I think if they waited even a second longer, overtime would have ended. I feel like we were coming down to the wire with that time, but you need to score a claim there. You need to do whatever you can possibly do to keep that basket open. And like you said, Watercolor, they knew, okay, we have to play defense. If they score, but they don't have anybody who's going to be throwing in some clams to follow up and potentially take the lead, we're set. They can score that, but we just have to make sure that we get our specials ready and we defend this basket.
Yeah, as soon as we zoomed out and we saw 4 Watercolor players arranged in an arc in front of the basket, it's like, okay, you're not getting through that.
Yeah, and I mean, there was only one Dynamo who was at the ready, but like you said, unless they're getting a quad with the flick and throwing some clams in, it's not gonna happen.
Just get the quad, easy.
Just get the quad, yeah. But next we are going to be moving on to Splat Zone's new Albacore, so definitely more range on this stage. And I mean, you knowing Watercolor, are you expecting any weapon changes?
Yes, I am expecting Aplo to probably go to a longer range Splatling here. Most of our players are just like short range shooters. That's one of the things we've been
talking about for comps, like, are there any other weapon classes we want to bring into the comp? But Aplo plays Spinny Gun and likes playing Long Shoot Spinny Gun for this particular map. Generally, we'll probably see Aplo going out to the left, and at least 2 frontliners going out on the right side. Maybe someone's lingering around with Aplo to help against flanks, or maybe we just shove all 3 on the right-hand side. We're going to go in with missiles. Missiles are really fantastic for this map, covering the entire stretch of mid if you're on the right or the left-hand side. So you can see, everybody who's on the zone, and they're all displaced. And so you can just move forward in a straight line with crossfire from the backliner on the left. And that's kind of the game plan going into it. Yeah, and I mean, tons of opportunities too with all these grates. There's really no easy way to get to the zone without being spotted. So missiles are going to also displace some of those members on the grates and really not make them as mobile. They're not able to dip into the ink and swim away. So I would not be surprised if we see missiles like you said.
All right. What I'm curious to see from Pufferfish Party is if they've gotten any like midline weapons, like CDS 96, that kind of thing. Those tend to be a little bit difficult to push around when they take positions on the grates. So yep, there we go. We've got the Hydra coming out. We do have a 96, and I've got those backwards. 96 on the other side. So they're running a Hydra. Pufferfish is running a Hydra. Okay.
Yeah, Pufferfish running the Hydra and the Soda Slosher pick too. I like that choice. I like that a lot. But now one player is going to go down quickly on both teams, as now Apple is going to be trying to push in on the left grates, but are quickly going to be spotted. And having armor on the other team isn't really going to help them at all, as they're trying to find a way to break in and potentially get this brush. But hey, they have the zone right now, able to get one nice pick. And right now, Watorcolor is in pretty good control.
Yeah, I think it's really important for the Hydra to take a position where it gets crossfire instead of, you got to force the other team to look in a different direction than at your frontliners. You need to create some kind of pinch there. And going up over Snipe for the retake, that allowed everyone to just see where the Hydra was all at the same time. It's if you start threatening on the left-hand side as they come in that I think it's more dangerous. Great job shutting down the hammer there, and that's going to delay the retake. Watorcolor threatening to just KO right away. This bomb rush not going to find anything, and they're going to get a couple of picks for it. Not a couple of picks, but Hydra completely forced out of position. Aplo doing haha funny things on the far right-hand side, and that is going to be game.
The positioning from Watorcolor that entire game was key. They were able to spot players coming out of any direction. I saw at the top of the map we had the brush player from Pufferfish Party try and push in. They were trying to flank, but no, they were caught. And I think just the positioning and knowing, okay, where are the backliners? Where are all the members on the team? That really didn't give Pufferfish Party an opportunity to push in at all. So the one push KO for Watorcolor, that's gonna put them in a pretty good position.
Yeah, that's I believe this is play all 3 if I remember correctly, and so they're gonna play the last game out. But this being the deciding game is huge. So Watorcolor already happy with the win, but they're also going to want that third game because this is Swiss, and Swiss every single game matters. And we are getting close to the kind of deciding matches here. We're going to be able to see between you and me, Falco, the matches that determine which teams make Alpha Bracket. And so every match counts because you never know how that tie is going to be broken. There may be some, 4-2 teams who, some make it in and some don't, and it's on the basis of these game wins and game losses. So it's important for both teams not to let up here. Pufferfish may still get something back for this. Watorcolor may get an even bigger advantage going into those final standings. Every game counts, even though you can say that officially Watorcolor has already won this match.
Yeah, and as from, both you and I who have played in Low Ink before, I assume you've played in Low Ink before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you're right. Every game does count, and it's hard when you do lose the first two, but you know, okay, maybe we're not afraid to try and change something up to potentially counter what they were succeeding at during Game 2. But let's see what weapons these players choose for Game 3. We do see the clear Dapple choice from the side of Pufferfish, and looks like they're running a Tri-Slosher now instead of Soda Slosher.
And from Watercolor, what is of note is that they're running double missiles now rather than going for the armor. Big fan of the Zap 89 on this map mode. The auto bombs are actually really helpful for clearing out bunker, and you know, having double missiles, having more of the missiles than you're even going to farm on a K-shot is super duper nice for just continuing to keep up that pressure. So looks like 2 go down while Bab is off on that successful flank, and so Bab is going to come back to try and create an off angle here. Paolo going for the trade, or the pick doesn't get it. Bab with some fantastic slaying already, 3KA on the board, and they're pushing up in the top left to try and start flushing the opponents out of street. Apple meanwhile here on bunker.
This is the push that Watercolor needed, because they were able to take the objective pretty early on, but they didn't have the player advantage when they did. But now that they do have the player advantage as they approach the second checkpoint and still able to get 2 picks, but look, we do have the couples that are going to be flanking, and no, they're going to be caught, so this is looking very good for Watercolor as they breeze on by the second checkpoint. They're approaching the third checkpoint, but now Pufferfish Party, they're going to need to be sneaky, and as I say sneaky, we have the Tri-Sloshers climbing up the wall, able to get a pick, but other members of Pufferfish Party now being splatted. The tower is now going to go back a little bit, but Watercolor Jr. back on the tower and continuing this push.
I love the patience here. Notice how Watercolor is hopping off the tower as soon as they're threatened, dealing with the flanker, and only then getting back on the tower. They're keeping themselves alive. They're keeping the push going. They know that they've got enough points to win the match off of this. They're 2 checkpoints in, but they're just kind of staggering the tower. They're making sure they don't wipe. They're making sure that the opposing team doesn't have a clean way back in.
And again, now for Watercolor, you are in a very good position because you know Pufferfish Party, they need to get past 2 checkpoints if they want to try and take the lead. So it's all about controlling mid and just spotting where these players are. Oh, now we have a 2v2, 2v1, as it looks like it was just the Kloppels who are alive, but now the Tri-Sloshers, so a lot of players are going to go down. Let's see who gets to mid first. It's going to be Reborn from Watercolor, as they're now going to push this objective just a little more to make it that much harder for Pufferfish to try and take back the objective.
Something interesting about Pufferfish Party's comp here is that they've got a lot of like ambush weapons. They got a lot of weapons that get on top of you and kill you really quickly, but have very short range. And so what's happening a lot here is you've got a Pufferfish Party member going in. Maybe they get the pick, maybe they don't, but immediately Watercolor with slightly longer weapon range and some, you know, better painting weapons are able to trade back as soon as those picks happen. And I think that's why Watercolor has been able to keep control for so long. Whenever anybody goes down, whenever anyone gets ambushed, they just trade back. And in the meantime, everyone is painting rather than sharking, getting paint control. And look at how green the enemy side is right now for Pufferfish Party. They just don't have anywhere to stand.
They're doing a really good job on their painting and just making sure that Pufferfish Party can't go anywhere. Pufferfish Party now on the tower just for a little bit to try and push this out, because once the tower is on your side of the base, it is hard to come back from that. And unfortunately for Pufferfish, they just haven't had control this entire match because this map has been so green for so long. But they are going to try and push forward using some of their specials. The tower is now back at mid, as they're going to try and push up just a little bit. They are getting some more specials ready. It looks like they do have a stamp and a splashdown ready. They're going to be taking the tower for the first time. They are able to get a pick as well, and it looks like they are trying to spot some flanks. This is actually looking pretty good for Pufferfish.
I'm guessing right now the Watercolor is probably going to be focusing on getting special. Reborn, I can see, has been holding those missiles for a little while. Knows that we don't need to use them until we use them. Okay, we're going in right now. Aplo did get a pick, so that would be a good time to push in with it. But that's going to back Pufferfish Party up a little bit. Oh, great pick there, I think, from Femi. And a trade, a 1-for-2 trade, so that's great for Watercolor right now. Aplo getting up there and getting another trade. Trades are fine when you're ahead. This is looking pretty good for Watercolor. I don't think that Pufferfish Party is going to have specials ready to go to get through those important checkpoints, so they're going to have to make a pretty strong play here. And another pick going down for Reborn. That's so huge. pushing into the clam goal. How did they even get to the tower at this point?
Yeah, it is very hard for Pufferfish. Like you said, Watercolor doing a good job just trying to get into very hard positions for Pufferfish, maybe to even respawn, like you said, with the knot up there on top of the slick spot. And, I mean, Watercolor, they were just in control pretty much that entire game. And, I again, just that entire map, look how far extended the green goes. You know, it was so hard for Pufferfish to push back in. And with that, Watercolor is going to win the set 3-0 and move up to 3-1.
Ooh, go Watercolor! Okay, I got the bias out of my system now. We're back to analytical mode.
There you go. But I mean, like you said, 2-2 for Pufferfish. It's kind of a tricky spot because you are potentially still in contention for Alpha Bracket if you do end 4-2, but you want to try and make sure that you win your next 6 games that you're going to be playing. And for Watercolor, again, they're in a very good spot, but nothing is guaranteed in Day 1 Swiss.
3-1 can easily turn to 3-3 if you let off the gas. So they've still got a ways to go, but they're in a pretty good spot right now. As for Pufferfish Party, that puts them at 2-2, so they're middle of the pack at the moment. Still absolutely could turn into a 4-2 if they keep pushing and get their next couple of games. The neat thing about Swiss is that as time goes on, the matches get closer and closer in terms of skill level, because there's more data in the system to determine like which teams are going to be a close match with each other. So they're going to get more exciting as the day goes on, and I'm glad that we are going to get to cast those ones in particular.
Right, and we still have a few games that are going to be finishing up for round 4. I'm looking at the standings right now. Looks like Prism is the only 4-0 team in Group B, and for Group A, it looks like it's Essence and Gaylight who are 4-0. So those teams are sitting in a really good spot, but they're going to have to wait before we get into our next game, and we are going to be taking a little bit of a break to let some of these matches finish up and to get our matches ready for round number 5. So we will be right back with Low Ink June 2022.
Hayden's there, trying to stop this before they end up getting the lead. And what? Hayden picks
And now it's the last man alive! And they reset it! This is amazing! Wow! 20 seconds left to go now!
Lead. They're gonna shove it forward at least, and that's gonna be 2 down.
This is not fair. Okay, they know where Link is. Man, the Rainmaker reset and we're like, who cares? Oh, they're still going for it? Bruh!
This is the FLC school pushing the Rainmaker. You've seen
slowing down this push.
AD is finding something. AD is using their Tri-Slosher, using this Charger to find something. They end up getting that 20 push. Finally, Ray comes out and takes people down, but they still have the Rainmaker to pick up. They still picked it up. They dunked it, even though the Ray was right on his face. What?
Well,
and the Squeezer with the first pick of the game after like a minute
into the game. That's crazy. Again, just shows how both of these teams are now figuring out each other's playstyle. They want to be really careful with this.
Hold on. How do people get away with these? They're trying so hard to stop this.
That's another one.
That's gonna be KO.
That's two wipes. That's 2 wipes in a row. That's KO. That is a certified Rainmaker moment.
It
to
really
end
is.
our set.
Let's just put a stamp on that and be like Rainmaker stamped, filed.
My goodness, but look at little Iron Blade from behind the Rainmaker! They have all missiles on them though, so they're gonna have to back up. They can't pick up this Rainmaker, unfortunately, but here it is! They're gonna be trying to get a lot of ink on the ground, but no! It's gonna be about Dulce that manages to pick up the Rainmaker and drop it into mid, and they're running away, and this game is over! It's Quinn.
Call down and go down to Kizhaz as a 4v1 situation and aggression comes out from Lois. You know, a game can end in this one push.
It can, and as soon as they round that corner, that's where damage is going to be done with a hammer escort as well. And they're not done. Gobble, gobble, gobble. It's like Pac-Man up there. That is your wipe. Goodbye.
Wow.
Game 3. Did you blink?
Be a tight spot for Shiver Me, and 2 go down. They can pop this. They've got the missiles, and there's 3 down on the side of Shiver Me. They just need to pop the Rainmaker. This could be it for Access Denied. They need to just get past that bomb. They need to get past that little bit of ink.
They still got a long way to go, though. But can they slip around? They do! They get lead! 1 point remaining!
Opponent capitalize. You cannot let them cap. And Gaiga struggling here on the side here with the sponge. Really low here. A 4v4 situation. But a nice flank there. And Gaiga's going to find the pick, leaving a 4v3 situation in their favor. 10 picks left for lead. And Gaiga's finding another pick. Missiles coming online. This zone, another pick is finally going to go back to Inksync. Now a 4v1.
Do a missile, and another missile kill ends up going down. Nether's not going to be able to fend off everyone. Has to back up a little bit, and it's going to leave another lowest player to die. That's 30 seconds left on the clock, and not a lot of special points, nor a lot of man advantage on the side of Lowest. But Ray, use some great plays. Ends up going down to the propeller ink. It's only Gigas. 20 seconds left.
losing the entire time anyway, so it's not like they got to change anything. And now they're taking the Rainmaker. They're trying to get leave. Toxic Mist coming out at the perfect time.
Jumps come in, and this hammer tries to stay alive for as long as possible. The Sploosh is trying to keep this Rainmaker from popping. They end up getting 3 down. They take the Rainmaker!
Scoreboard, but the rest of the players for Lois are 13 remaining. They don't have any clams just yet, but Link is just destroying everybody, and that's going to cause enough time for the rest of the players to give those clams. Can they keep this basket open? They do, but then they don't? Nintendo? Excuse me.
No, that's
Still under fire. That's 3 down on the side of Shiver. So even though this one zone is taken, it's going to get neutralized again. And those penalty points are almost gone.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, they are hanging on.
This is tight.
They are painting the zone like their life depends on it. 2 seconds.
It's 3 down. They got this.
There we go.
They got that lead.
They got
Haunt them here. Look, only about 5 penalty points remaining. And there comes K around the right side. Are they going to be able to get the zone right back? It stalls. Nobody has been splatted just yet. It's a back and forth for the entire game. 2 players going down from Lowest 2 going down for Inksync now. And somehow, what a finish. Inksync wins game 1.
Get called out and go down to Kizhaz as a 4v1 situation and aggression comes out from Lois. You know, a game can end in this one push.
It can, and as soon as they round that corner, that's where damage is going to be done with a hammer escort as well. And they're not done. Gobble, gobble, gobble. It's like Pac-Man up there. That is your White. Goodbye.
Wow.
Game 3. Did you blink?
And specials are going to be popped for Cake's advantage here as Echo is playing on the wrong side of the map. Chad King now jumping to the far left, looking to try to put this ball in after popping a Booyah. And effectively just 3 down as Echo is trying to cycle back with that Inkjet. They are going to find a pick on Chad King, and the ball is going to get missed because of it. Echo saving that push with 3 down now in their favor.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Swiss rounds of Low Ink June 2022. I'm back here once again with Falco, and we're going to be watching Hidden Radiance of the Twilight versus Citric Hues.
Yeah, both of these teams are 2-2 right now, so we were kind of touching on this earlier, that this is the make it or break it spot. If you are trying to get into the alpha bracket, you want to secure these wins and hope that your opponent win percentage is higher than the other team. But we're going to be starting off with Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track. And honestly, this is one of my favorite map and modes to see. Just anything that can happen as far as where the Rainmaker is being pushed. I don't think any special is uncommon to see here. You know, there are some maps and modes that are definitely more viable than others, but I'm very excited for this.
Definitely. This can be an absolute slog where the entire match balances on a knife's edge, but you have to just keep throwing your bombs and keep painting and wait for that one tiny opportunity, or it could be over in 30 seconds. It's easy to see both.
Right, things can just kind of spiral out if you get the early pop, get the early wipe, and just have all of your team paint up that path to try and get to the podium. And I mean, luckily from spawn, the podium is kind of right there, so you don't have to go in a tricky spot to get back and try and play some defense. But it can be pretty hard because you can just easily throw whatever you need up there to try and prevent players from pushing in, have some bubbles on display, or do whatever you possibly can. But these teams are ready, and we are ready for you guys too, so let's bring you our first game of round 5.
Getting started, we've got a Tri-Slosher, we've got a Sploosh 7, very aggressive comp coming out of Hidden Radiance here. And then on the side of Citric Hues, we have a Hydra trying to hold it down.
Yeah, Hydra definitely going to be the one with the most range, and it looks like there that Citric Hues, they're going to get the early pop, but aren't going to really make the most use out of it, as they are able to get a splat, and now they have armor. They might be in a position to pick up this Rainmaker, as they are now trying to paint a path maybe a little prematurely as they're trying to chase some of these players out. But one of the rollers from Hidden Radiance was pushed up a little too far. They're going to have to jump out now, but Citric Hues has pretty good control as they're taking it up this right side.
Yeah, they've got an advantage, but it's not an overwhelming advantage yet. They have a couple of players down. Oh, wait, this 96 now, those two picks coming through, and they're forced into the trench. They're dropping out of a defensive position there. So this is going to be huge points already for Citric Hues, all the way down to 10.
Wow, just finessing that Rainmaker and staying in alive. And like you said, having that player drop down into the trench, that is the worst thing that can happen to them. They're going to have to jump back if they want to try and get in the spawn, or take the long route on the right side. So getting all the way to 10 this early on is going to be very nice for Citric Hues. But like you said, this map and mode is a little more unpredictable, as things can kind of spiral out of control. So Hidden Radiance now going to try and find a way that they can break back in, but Citric Hues doing a good job just kind of defending this Rainmaker.
Yeah, they did a really good job of holding their ground even once the push got repulsed, and I think a big part of that is the fact that Skull on the Hydra has been sitting on the left-hand side and absolutely raining down on Hidden Radiance's plat. They're going to need to figure out a way to get around that or to displace it if they want to be able to have successful defensive pushes.
And right now, they're doing a good job kind of defending this Rainmaker still. It's been at its spawn for about a minute now. And now Citric Hues trying to push forward again on this right side, maybe trying to clear some enemies before they can pick up the Rainmaker. They are now going to pick it up. It looks like Spit in his very good spot, pushed up, now going to be painting a path towards this pedestal, as the Rainmaker is now going to be staying alive, but is going to get down just short of where they got before. But two players are now down on Hidden Radiance.
This might be game right here. Spit gonna have cover over the top, and they do not stop him from moving all the way up. I want to draw attention to the KA number on the Hydra here to show just how impactful it was, because you're not going to see that on the camera all that often, but you are definitely going to see the impact that it had on the match. 9 KA on Skull right there. Part of that might be armor supports, but again, that armor is super impactful. The crossfire going to be super impactful, letting their Sploosh and their frontline weapons push up onto the plat and just completely gain control and never really lose control of mid even when they were down.
And like you mentioned before, the Hydra just kind of stayed back and waited for players waited for other players to just try and push up towards mid, but was able to pick them off and secure the win. But yeah, I mean, 9 KA and probably not much armor support, only using 2 armors as well. From a match that ended that quickly, that's very impressive.
It takes a particular play style to figure out how to get around a Hydra. You've got to know where they are, and then you've got to put all of your force on the opposite side and try and win advantageous fights where the Hydra can't help. Because if you end up peeking it, it can win 1v3s. It's just got such a fast kill time, such a great fire rate while it has charge. You really have to respect it. It's kind of a beast when it's in those strong positions. You have to fight it outside of those strong positions.
Yeah, certainly. And now we're going to be moving on to our next stage, which is going to be Clam Blitz on Snapper Canal. So this is one of those stages too. Of course, like anytime you need to coordinate your specials when you're making these pushes, but especially when you have these slick spots that you want to try and get by. So once again, both of these teams don't want things to spiral out of control. You're going to want somebody kind of defending that rail and making sure that nobody is able to get a flank and throw in a power clam to potentially gain some momentum.
We saw a couple of Sploosh players in that last match. I'm really curious to see if they switch off. Sploosh is a very, very strong weapon in Rainmaker and sees disproportionate play in that mode. But I expect that we might see at least one of those frontliners maybe switch off it for a different type of mode like Clam Blitz, especially on a map like Snapper. Let's see.
Yeah, and Snapper, there's quite a bit of space that you can spread around, and it's one of those stages. It's hard to determine, okay, what's my side, what's your side. Everything is just kind of pushed together when you're in mid. But like you said, we don't see the Hydra anymore. We do just see the regular mini. So once again, that is going to, well, them in the 96 will be the kind of the acting backline of this team. But both teams. Pretty painted comp.
Really solid mechanical play coming out here from Citric Hues. That fight was played absolutely beautifully. The teamwork was there. The mechanics were there. I'm really impressed so far by what I'm seeing from them. What a good pick from Skull, too. This is really... Oh, okay.
Yep.
That might have been part of it. I didn't see exactly when that came in, that maybe they were just at a numbers disadvantage at all times, but... I'm very impressed by the way that the frontliners are playing these fights from Citric Hues. So I want to, Hidden Radiance, they're going to have to respond really quickly to what side Citric Hues is trying to control. Looks like they're collecting some clams, just making sure that they have enough to KO and don't run out in the middle of it. And there we go. They all go in.
I always appreciate it when the team who needs to kind of lose the match will also go out of their way and give clams to the enemy team just so we can kind of expedite this. And, they want to play this game as soon as they possibly can. And we as commentators and viewers definitely want to do that. So, but yeah, it looks like it was the Gal who DC'd on Hidden Radiance. And these teams should have no problem readying up and getting back in. But... I mean, it's kind of hard to judge based on what we saw for that short period of time with that match, but I mean, I do like the choice of the mini over the Hydra because you are going to need to be a little more mobile, just making sure that where some of these players are with their clams, they don't get in a very comfortable position, and just having more run speed and able to put yourself at an advantage to try and get claims as well is going to be much better.
Skull was the Hydra player on Citric Hues last game, and they are actually playing NZAP from the match we just saw.
Gotcha.
So we got those flipped a little bit, but we'll see if there's I didn't notice if there was a roster switch. I didn't catch it in time. One thing I wanted to say, though, about throwing the clams to each other, as silly a moment as that is in a tournament, it's actually good practice for trying to keep the basket open, for maintaining a steady enough stream of clams. That's actually, something where I'm thinking game at that point in time, because that's a good drill, I think, for learning that skill of keeping the basket open. Skull on the right-hand side here, trying to push in, but not going to happen against weapons with that kind of range with height advantage.
Yeah, two players are going to go down on Hidden Radiance, and that's going to be a pretty quick score from Citrus Hues, as they are able to also use their specials and get some more claims in. but it looks like ESM able to hop down the side and get a few picks along the way. Rock now going to try and push up, or they're going to be pushing back just a little bit to defend and potentially protect a counter push. So getting all the way to 53, I honestly thought it was going to be a larger push, but that's a push you definitely can't complain about this early on in the game.
Yeah, it looked like a power clam got made really quickly and went in there, because I was surprised to see how many points they had for how much control they had earned. Ooh, Hidden Radiance gets caught off guard by a flank here by 2 members of Citric Hues, so they're at an advantage right now. They're going to start trying to push up. Great trade back there from Skull. Skull's doing it all right now, playing on the back line, playing on the front line, getting picks either way.
Yeah, this early on already has 5 KA. So does, I do want to point out, so does the Mini on the side of HR. And now Citrus in better control as they do have the power claim. It looks like Skull's going to be trying to flank up on this rail. And now they have 2 power claims in, and they're going to get those in no problem because Ivy is caught behind, but is able to get 1 pick. Is that going to go down? And this is looking very good for Citrus Hues as they're now trying to get some more players, but unfortunately they can't stay alive. Spit going to try and throw some more claims in, getting all the way down to 24. That looked really dangerous for HR, but they're able to hold on.
The flank from Ivy was a great play and did result in a disproportionate number of picks, but the front line crumbling in front, and that's something you got to worry about with flanks. When you flank, your teammates are at a 3v4 situation. If they just get rushed down right away, like Citrus Hues is showing they can do, that might not be the play you're looking for. You might need to form more of a wall.
That's right, and now HR trying to get a little bit more control. They do have a power claim on their side, but Citrus Hues also has a power claim too at their ready. Once again, Skull's going to try and flank to maybe get out this power claim as they're going to be trying to push up, and they are able to take them out. And with that, Citrus able to get some more map control. They're looking very nice as Skull's now going to try and push up, get the player who's kind of protecting that power clam. Who's going to win this 1v1? It looks like Skull, and Skull will win with the support of one of their other members. But with that, Citrus Hues just maintaining control of the map.
Skull is coming up huge so far in this game. It looks like they're so confident moving into any engagement that they want to take. So it's worth noting, I think Skull is a sub on the team, so they might not quite have the same synergy with the team as you would think that they have, but all of these fights, I've been very impressed with the way that they've been playing around them.
That's right. Now, Hidden Radiance, they're trying to find a way that they can break in, maybe get some of these picks, but Citrus Hues, they're not letting up on the aggression. They don't have a power claim formed right now, but they do have 19 claims. As I say that, COD now has a power claim, going to be using the missiles as they are going to displace some of the members of HR. Now pushing forward and pushing up, they are going to be able to get this power claim in, and there's another claim at the ready for a power claim. That's going to be 2 picks, 3 players down. This might be game.
That absolutely will be game. Great job on the part of Citric Hues backing up when Hidden Radiance popped armor. They kind of just ate all of the aggression from that special. HR is like, all right, the fight's happening right now. Let's pop this. Let's go. And then they were like, wait, where did everybody go? And they never got to actually use the armor as it came out. Then when Citric Hues pushed back in, they had their own armor and had a complete advantage over the situation rather than trying to pit their armor against the other team's armor. So that was a great strategic play at the end there that I think got them a lot of benefit.
Yeah, and then alongside of Skull's flank getting 14 KA at the end, they really turned it on and were able to spot some of those HR members. So they're going to be winning this set 3 and moving on to 3-2. But again, since this is a play all 3, we will have one more game headed your way in this round, and that is going to be Splat Zones on Anchovy Games.
Mm-hmm. Man, if I'm HR, I'm thinking, okay, I have no idea what comp they're about to play. They're gonna have to, play really carefully around the enemy front line, because that is what has really been earning. I think at the end of the day, that's what's been earning Citric Hues their advantages. They've been winning fights on the front lines. They've been taking good 2v2s and 2v1s in skirmish situations and just getting picks out of them. So I think if you're Hidden Radiance, you want to be slowing things down a little bit because you've been playing more of the midliners. You've been playing more of that I can back up and wait for them to feed into me sort of play style. And I think if they're able to slow the game down and put up a little bit more of a wall and push in using specials to give yourself hard advantages, I think that's going to give them a better opportunity than getting caught in all of these scrappy fights in weird corners of the map.
That's right. And I mean, this stage coming up, Splat Zones Anchovy Games, it's going to be hard if the team with the objective is able to push up very far. It's going to be hard to break down. So we'll see if any of the players can maybe get in that position and see how they do break out of it. But I do like the aggression from the side of Citric Hues there. I like the NZAP K-Shot and K-Pro choice.
Yeah, they've got an Octobrush coming out, so you've got to watch out for those flanks at all times. It looks like Ivy already spotting it out. Beautiful counterplay there from Ivy to stop that from coming in. That's a really promising start for Hidden Radiance. Let's see if they can get the zone cap and start pushing up.
Yeah, and now Hidden Radiance moving on to that Zinc Mini, so I believe they're going to have Curling Bomb and... Curling Bomb and Rain. So they are able to take the objective pretty early, as K7 is now going to be watching over this right side. But now members of Citric Hues trying to break in at mid, especially using the Stamp, using that Booyah Bomb, getting 2 players down, and this is going to be a cap. That's going to be very good for Citric Hues.
All right, it's going to be really crucial for these players to... really crucial for these players to jump out and not go down, because that's going to cause a stagger now, and a stagger is exactly what Citric Hues wants, pushing up onto the plat here. They have the more aggressive comp. Oh, but great... Oh, was that a bomb off the wall? No, it wasn't. Never mind.
It was a good play, whatever it was, by Citric Hues, as they are still able to maintain this control and taking care of mid. A lot of their teammates are pushed up. We see Skull now coming in, but they're spread out exactly how you want to be spread out and avoiding this rain too. But Hidden Radiance hoping that's going to benefit them. They do have 2 players down, and I don't know if they will really have an opportunity to break in, especially now maybe with 3... Ooh, can JP stay alive? Yes, they do stay alive. This is going to be when they have to break in, as not much time is remaining. They just need to stall it for a little bit. Going to use these bubbles. Will be enough for a cap, but the counter Booyah was going to make it really hard.
Oh, this has been such a heroic effort, and they finally managed to do it. Insane work by Ivy and the roller player, I'm forgetting their name at the moment, being able to work their way in with those bubbles, with that splash wall. That was a miracle hero cap that they pulled off just now. They're probably not going to be able to maintain it realistically. The positioning is just not great right now. You know, with that many Citric Hues players alive and all looking at the same player, they're going to be able to root them out. And I want to see Hidden Radiance not going down in these stagger situations so often. They're just running into the entire enemy team in some unfortunate situations, and only 2 players up still from Hidden Radiance. They have all respawned, but 2 of them have gone down since, and that's slowing down their retake so much.
Yeah, Citric Hues now thinking if we would have held on for just a split second, we wouldn't have the 74 penalty points that we do have, but Citric Hues doing a good job pushing up as they are able to really get these picks. It's hard for Hidden Radiance to try and break back in, but it looks like they are able to get the... I couldn't see what happened. I think the K-Pro somehow, the K-Gal made an escape for it, was able to get into the zone and use their Booyah Bomb to stay alive and give more penalty points to Citric Hues. So that's going to prolong this even longer. But I mean, look at the KI already. 12 for the K-Shot, 10 for the Kenza Brush, 14 for the NZAP. They are not letting their guard down.
Absolutely. I think huge credit to Ivy for being able to make the objective plays that they've been able to make so far, getting in with their wall and keeping themselves safe, but that unfortunately did not work for the final push in, and the whole team looking like going to go down in that final fight. Really, really good fighting from Citric Hues. They won those fights not by, you know, abusing their special pushes, not by just waiting and playing slowly and patiently. They won it by putting more numbers into the fight than the other team was at that moment, rotating quickly and being ready to help each other. It was really good teamwork.
Right, anytime you can make the fight a 2v1, you want to take advantage of that. You want to be able to call out where your teammates are and spot the enemy players to get those picks. And always make sure that the enemy team is rolling in, not with all 4 of their players strong. And what was hard for Hidden Radiance is they were able to break in a few times. Like we saw, I think it was the K52 that broke in on the side. But then Citric Hues, they were right back to where they were going. They were able to get those picks and continue to lock members of HR out. So Citric Hues going to be moving up, like we said, to 3-2, and Hidden Radiance now at 2-3. But both of these players and both of these teams and every team, we still have one more set to go in day 1 of Low Ink.
Absolutely. Still some action left to go. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. I wanted to say just a little bit more about Hidden Radiance, because one thing that they did do really well there that I was talking about them needing to do is kind of build a wall and wait for a set play. And they had one heck of a set play with the K52 and the roller coming in with the bubbles to make that retake happen. Like, that sort of thing is absolutely going to win them games. It's just, a matter of making sure that they're playing safe until they're able to set that up. So kudos to them for putting that together. That was pretty spectacular to watch. But Citric is going to come out of it on top for this round, and we await our round 6 matches.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break one more time because we still have one more amazing set for you guys on day 1 of Low Ink 2022. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We've got 17 seconds
Oh, the
left.
bubbles!
Blue here are the bubbles, though. Oh,
They
were
took
able
the
to take
lead!
the lead.
They took the lead. The bubbles there blocking the shots. That was a nice bubble there. You may start with
Very
the
nice
comeback.
indeed. Yes, and with that, now our set is 1-1. Very nice. I mean, again, like you said, those bubbles just are really
They are!
Just
What a
exactly
push.
what we want to see. What a push indeed we've got, though. We've got that double coming out, and now with that 3 down coming on to Lois, they put all of their energy into that, and now we're going to be seeing overkill. We are not going to be seeing overkill.
I was like, but this is just a tight corner right here. 2 going down. Oh wow. Okay, missiles. Snack again. Snack again.
How'd you get back there? How'd you get back there with a triple? Oh no! Snowfall's gonna get lit off of that. How?
Could be the end of this push.
Yeah, my Opsitus keeps the momentum going. They keep getting picks and surviving long enough. Dux is rolling in a circle. They're trying to get all the picks, and they get 2 picks with the Dynamo, and they take the tower into the goal.
They're walking out this bridge, just trying to stall for time as we enter overtime. Booyah coming online for Snowfall. The ball now going to the ramp, looking for an opportunity. It's Freeze and Carr. They're not going to
make
find
it in
They
time.
go down. The barrier is over them, and they get the ball.
Oh,
It's
that's it.
1 point.
Wow. Wow, I didn't think they were going to pop it in time. It's Uwu who's the team that's staggered. Kimmy is going in and is going to get punished from that, but can they clear the second checkpoint? That would be absolutely monstrous, and they do! And they get the wipe! Rising Stars! What is going on? We're going to a game 5! Wow! How do they come back?
Great special push, utilizing all of their specials at the right time to get a good, strong push going. As that's going for all the way, trying to run this down. And again, the discipline from up the ante. Going to make it. They took the Rainmaker. They held it forward every single time they picked
Sees themselves staggering. Could this be Irene's moment to try to just seal the deal? One more power clip plus 1 is gonna do it. That is a KO. A great comeback there from Irene.
That was so good. That was great coordination. They got 2 down, and then after they went for the next 2 while the other 2 respawned.
At the top of the screen there, there was Sharky, and instead we just had a tri-slosher trade. I think when they found each other there. What if the 2 tri-sloshers kiss at the court area? Well, they both explode. But now, the team that is losing right now, Snowfall, they do get a splat. Kept the zone. Twig got a pick. Twig got 2 picks. They neutralized the zone again. They just need to hold this area a little bit. They're the last hope for Aquatic Vanguard. As they get 2 more picks, and what looked like a near comeback for Myopsitis gets turned around again.
We can reset and but they need to get the players out of their base. This Nautilus is destroying everyone on the mast. The Tri-Slosher sloshing down from above, and it's not enough. That's 3 going down. That's 4. That's gonna be a wipe, and it's dunk.
Wait.
Not a dunk. They slammed dunk and took the net down with it.
Keep going. What is up top? Who's getting completely dodged around? And this is basically an execution test.
How did that splashdown not kill Jim? How did that splashdown not connect right there? The Beast Sploosh is making all of the right plays. No, it's Uwu who's the team that's staggered. Kimmy is going in and is going to get punished from that, but can they clear the second checkpoint? That would be absolutely monstrous, and they do! And they get the wipe! Rising Stars! What is going on? We're going to a game 5! Wow! How do they come
So now it's a 4v3 in favor of JPEG. Gibbs trying to use that Brella to make a move towards the basket. Finally going to be able to start pushing up. And 2 picks. 2 people going down on the side of JPEG. Can Gibbs get to the basket in time? This is going to be really close. Oh, no!
So close for Vivace.
Now, this is the moment of truth, right? You got to hold on to this tower. You cannot lose this. It is up for Axis Knight to try to push this as much as possible. Only 15 points away from being able to do this.
They're really close.
One down. All 3 of them are on top of him. They're still pushing it over time. 3 points away. Can they get it?
They got it!
Do. Axis Denied coming in clutch. And I think that's what they were trying to do. Like I said, man.
With two people trying to scramble on the tower, with one on the bottom right, with the K-Pro, and everybody just throwing bombs, everything they have. Last is ever, no pun intended, with the bubbles coming out, trying to protect the tower, jump in. Everybody's trying to get off the tower, still on the tower. How is this Splash still alive on the tower? No way! Oh my goodness, that was a clutch of all clutches if I ever seen.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Low Ink June 2022. We are getting ready for round 6 of today. I am Falcoflyer, joined here by Jem. And Jem, we've seen some wonderful sets so far, haven't we?
Yeah, very exciting. One that contained my team. I was very happy to see that. So A+ from me. I'm loving it.
Yeah, now we're getting ready for Midnight Sun versus Taste the Rainbow. Both of these teams are 3-2. So one of them will be moving on to 4-2 in hopes that they can squeak by and get into that alpha bracket. If not, both of these teams will likely be playing tomorrow in likely beta bracket, I guess, if that doesn't happen. But we're going to be starting off with Tower Control on Inkblot Art Academy. And we're coming to the point of the day where these teams, they've played a lot of games. You know, so far they've played 15 games, very high-stake games, very competitive games, and you know, when you're 3-2, that typically means that you won and lost roughly the same amount of the games in all. So they're hoping to end on a high note here and put themselves in a good position for day 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, this is very much momentum based. If you have been keeping a healthy mindset and been, you know, positive, keeping morale up on the team, that's a huge benefit towards these later stages where the matches really do count. But it can also be a little bit more nerve-wracking because you know that like one match here is the difference between potentially making alpha bracket and probably dropping back down.
Right, so everything is on the line here, and again, even if you do lose the set, you don't know what's going to happen as far as the other team, so you still want to try and keep that momentum and keep that game going. But yeah, starting off on Tower Control with Inkblot Art Academy, I don't really know. I mean, we kind of talked. We don't really know much about either of these two teams. We're kind of excited to see what they can bring to the table. But this is one of those stages that if you don't have the tower kind of protected during the checkpoints, and I mean, that can be said really about any stage, it's going to be hard to kind of defend and push forward. But let's take a look at these comps here. We do see a Soda Slosher on the side of Midnight Sun. And I like the Luna Blaster choice on the side of Taste the Rainbow.
Yeah, Luna Blaster, I see it more often on kind of this map than I do most places. Lots of nice little sharking spots, lots of ledges especially for you to hit up over the top of. So it's got some advantages here and there. Obviously, you're going to need a team that's going to paint for it so it can shark, but so far it has looked like we've got... I'm trying to read the names here real quick so I can remember which side is which here. But Orange team going to be pushing into the tower here. We'll get that in just a second. I think Blizzy is on Taste the Rainbow, if I'm remembering correctly. So yep. Taste the Rainbow going to be regaining control of the tower here. Got some picks. Going to have map mostly under control at this point. It's all purple right now. So we'll see if they can get a push started here.
Yeah, Midnight Sun, they tried to get to that first checkpoint, and they just touched it. Unfortunately, couldn't get past it. But with some of these specials, and I think with the use of this ink wall too, there's kind of some tight corridors based on these stacks. If you throw an ink wall in between the stack and the tower, the enemy team doesn't have a whole lot of area where they can move. And now Taste the Rainbow trying to get a little more momentum, as they do have some of these players are pushing up kind of by the tree there. And now they're finally on the tower, so let's see how quickly they can get to this first checkpoint. But it looks like they might be contested just a little bit, and I think some of the players from Taste the Rainbow may be pushed up a little too far without getting those picks. But right now they do have the player advantage once again.
Yeah, you want to give credit to the defenders there for making sure that they ate the aggression, at least from the armor. Armor gets popped, and everyone just kind of backs up, and they play it safe. They don't want to take a disadvantageous fight. So, good play from them there. Now we're pushing a first checkpoint. This checkpoint is huge. If they make it through this first checkpoint, second checkpoint, it can snowball so hard. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening. Melody in such a strong position on the right-hand side finally gets pushed out, but it takes 20, 25 points for them to push them out, even in a 3v1. 26 is the push that they're left with.
This tower moving pretty quickly, regardless of not having the player advantage. But Taste the Rainbow, they knew, hey, we get, like you said, we get past the second checkpoint. We can kind of feed, we can kind of have one player on. I know it's going to be hard, but this is the this is a moment where we need to get past this checkpoint. I know we won't have the player advantage when we do, but Taste the Rainbow, Midnight Sun, they're going to be having to do the same exact thing if they want to try and take the lead. And now Midnight Sun able to get some more picks. I know Gold trying to take down Glizzy there. Glizzy is going to be on the tower. 2 players down, but now Glizzy is going to go down. And so these teams are just taking turns at riding this tower.
Yeah, Midnight Sun starting to try and push up onto the plat. They've got a Booyah Bomb that's going to try and flush that out and give their frontliners a way in, but there's a Booyah behind them as well. It's going to slow that down. So kind of a stalemate at the moment, but that does benefit Midnight Sun as they're able to get through first checkpoint. Second checkpoint's going to be harder to get through right now.
Yeah, especially with the double Booyah Bomb on the side of Midnight Sun. They're gonna have a hard time, or Taste of Rainbow is going to have a hard time trying to defend if Midnight Sun is able to kind of get some momentum with that. And it looks like they are, but once again, they are a few players down as players try to jump onto the tower. So Taste the Rainbow denying that second checkpoint as they're able to get some more map control. And now that looks like the Luna Blaster's trying to go up, and it looks like they are going to get a nice pick on Mop, who is on the left side, kind of by left tree, and now trying to make sure nobody's coming down the slick side.
Really nice defense there, I've got to say, from Taste the Rainbow. They did a really good job of using all of those specials in a way that it counteracted the numbers disadvantage they were at.
That's right, and right now 2 players are down on Midnight Sun, as this is looking pretty good for Taste the Rainbow, as we've just under a minute left. And now both players have Booyah Bomb. Melody waiting for Midnight Sun to throw theirs. And Midnight Sun, they had to throw their Booyah because they were being contested, or else they just would have gotten splatted holding it. And we do see a 2v1 now. Looks like Gold be waiting on this right stack, waiting for somebody to drop down. But no, they're going to be pushing up and trying to get that pick. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do that. In Midnight Sun, they are going to want to try and get some more map control, especially on the path of the tower, but it's going to be hard because members of Midnight Sun continue to go down.
I wonder if Goldeb plays Nautilus sometimes, because I'm seeing some really aggressive plays out of their remix here, walking around like they're working with Splattershot range or something like that. It's pretty fun to watch.
And now this is going to be the final push for Midnight Sun, but they are going to be taken down with the help of that Ray. So that is going to be game 1 for Taste the Rainbow. I mean, Goldeb, like you said, stayed alive for a while and kind of had the aggression that they needed to try and get those picks. But unfortunately, when you're just getting those picks one by one and they're spaced out pretty far enough, Taste the Rainbow is going to respawn and be at full strength.
Taste the Rainbow definitely doing a good job of winning the fights that mattered, winning the fights that actually had to do with the objective. There were plenty of picks going back in the other direction. There were a lot of times where Midnight Sun did have control, but when it came down to actually taking control of an opponent's stronghold, taking control of those areas that defend against checkpoints, they weren't able to get their front line in the same way that Taste the Rainbow were. So moving on to Rainmaker Blackbelly. This is one of the most popular competitive Rainmaker map modes. It's got a couple of really nice routes into the base that's, different situations call for different ideas. Lots of interesting cover leading up to it, but it is a relatively straight shot to the goal, and your movement can be predictable unless you're rotating. So I think it's a pretty solid, balanced map. You will probably see more of that Stingray that we were seeing put to good use for Taste the Rainbow there. They were pairing really well with that. You saw at the very end, the way they retook was Ray, and then one person shooting the tower and one person's getting on the tower, all at exactly the same time. Very coordinated. I expect more of that here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Keeping with that C-Jet, I would not be surprised if they stay with that choice. But we'll see if members of Midnight Sun kind of change what they were doing. I'm curious to see, like how you mentioned, Goldeb maybe potentially using the knot, if they would bring it out and try and hop up from these little grooves of Blackbelly to get some picks. But no, it looks like they're going to be going with the C-Jet. So both teams will be having the C-Jet. We might see the Ray on Ray battle that I always love.
Yeah, that is... it becomes a bit of a chess match. Who's using the Ray first, and what are they getting out of it?
and now both teams just trying to get a feel for where their enemies are going. The pop didn't really have a big impact, but it looks like Midnight Sun, they are going to have the Rainmaker. Mop trying to clear a left side path, and they are going to get it. And Gold is just waiting in the back using the Ray. I don't think they see Glizzy, who's going to be pushing up, trying to get them. Are they going to be able to get out of there in time? No. Glizzy's going to be able to splat them. And now Glizzy's going to try and contest this Rainmaker barrier as 2 players go down. They're able to stay alive. So for Midnight Sun, pushing to 81 wasn't really what they were hoping for with all of their players on the left side. So I would say that's a good position to be in for Taste of Rainbow.
Yeah, it was interesting. It looked like they tried to shift the defense there. They were holding the Rainmaker in mid and fighting in mid, and then the Junior tried to paint a path so that they could really quickly blitz through the left side, knowing that that's not safe, but the rotation got called out by the Stingray. Stingray doesn't care what side of the map you're on. It's a global special.
And now members of Midnight Sun trying to use their specials. They're able to lock on to Taste of Rainbow, who actually was able to take the lead by 1 point, but they are 2 players down now. So Midnight Sun trying to get a little bit more map control, trying to get these picks, and they do. They're going to be picking up the Rainmaker and taking it this left side, and it looks like they do have the help of the Soda Slosher burst bombs getting all the way to 63, but now that's going to be a wipe.
Yeah, that side of the map is a little bit disadvantageous until you get more up the hill on the left-hand side. And, you know, yeah, you could say they got lead. It's a lead to 63. That's not going to hold. Probably not even on this push. So I think smart play from Midnight Sun there, making sure to just play the defense well and then immediately keep it on the right-hand side and move it forward. There's the lead, going right back to them, 49.
Yep, you called it, Jem. And Midnight Sun quick to try and pop that, making sure they get these picks so no members of Midnight Sun are able to kind of come up on this Rainmaker. And it looks like one of the players may have slipped by. I'm not sure if they're able to get close to the Rainmaker, but no, it looks like the Rainmaker is going to reset. And with that, Taste of Rainbow now trying to spread out a little more since they are the ones who have control mid. And Glizzy now going to be painting this left side for a potential push, able to give some armor for their teammates as well, but they're not finding an opportunity to pick up this Rainmaker because of the Ray.
Yeah, the Ray might have been a little bit on the early side, but I will say that it lets them get in and get past their numbers disadvantage. Ooh, and this is huge. They got past everyone. Oh, but the Jet with a beautiful crossfire play there to stop it from getting the lead. Good defense there from Twin Violet.
You know, a missed opportunity there from Mop. I think they were caught kind of on the ledge. If they were able to get up, they could have made a break for it and potentially be out of the range. But look, that's going to be a quick wipe there. Really going to be helping out Taste the Rainbow as they do have the lead, trying to get some more map control and making sure that all spots are covered and nobody can flank. So now we see Glizzy going around the side once again to make sure nobody is over there, already painting a path. And this is looking pretty good for them as map control still seems to be in the favor of Taste the Rainbow.
Glizzy going very aggressive here, trying to force players back into their frontliners, but they might get caught out here. Yeah, they go down. That's a big advantage now all of a sudden for Midnight Sun. Let's see what they can do with it. They take out the roller this time. That was what stopped the push before. And they're pushing the Jet down as well. The defenses have fallen. They're going through on the right-hand side. 38 is the next point to beat. That's still beatable. This could swing back the other way if the push goes back in the other direction. They still have a full minute. They have some time to regroup and maybe try to regain the lead here. But great play there from Midnight Sun, putting the pressure on right as there's 1 minute left in the game.
Like you said, this is a game of chess, and these two teams, they're taking turns taking the lead. They just know, okay, we need to get the lead. Okay, we got it. Let's now play defense. So let's see. This is going to be Taste the Rainbow's opportunity to try and push forward. The help of the Ray, 1 player down. They're going to be going up middle right here, but going to have to avoid the Ray. It looks like they tried to go on the right side to help get some support from their Ray, but now going to go down. So unfortunately, not going to be the lead for them. And this is looking good for Midnight Sun as 2 players are down on Taste the Rainbow.
And they're pushing all the way up to the enemy T as well. That's another pick that's so huge that staggers the enemy team. That gets rid, I think, of the Ray as well. So no Ray for these closing moments here. And Midnight Sun, oh, they actually pick it up. Wait, that might be a mistake. If they go down, that's overtime.
This is going to give overtime for Taste the Rainbow to try and get it, but that's going to be popped and picked up by Midnight Sun. So we are going to Game 3 in Round 6.
Man, that scared me a little bit there. So, in the end, what you really want to be doing is just keep the Rainmaker in the shield. They're lucky that they were able to get that pop despite their Rainmaker carrier getting splatted. Usually, the numbers advantage that gives the other team allows them to pop it on you, and then they can pick it up and they have a push that they can make in overtime. So, picking it up, definitely not the call there, but they were able to salvage it and keep it defended well enough. Made me hold my breath there for a minute, but we're going to move on to Clam Blitz Piranha Pit, whether I've got my breath or not.
I do want to go back and talk about, I don't know if you saw the KA from both teams, but both teams were in double digits with their KA. And like we said, they're taking turns. They know when we need to focus on getting the objective. We need to get these picks. And there were so many players who went down. So overall, both teams just showed a fantastic performance. And there wasn't really anything that Taste the Rainbow had a missed opportunity on and Midnight Sun really excelled at. I think it was just the case of how well both of those teams played on offense and defense.
Just a whole bunch of sprints to lead and not much further than lead. That's a relatively low-scoring game, I would say, for Black Belly Rainmaker. So the whole game was hanging on a knife's edge that entire time. Looks like we're getting pretty close to readied up here on Clam Blitz Piranha Pit. What are you expecting out of these teams now that we've had a chance to see what they've been playing?
We did see the Ray in Game 2, which I would expect us to see, and we did see it in Game 1 as well, but I feel like Clam Blitz on Piranha Pit, we could see that again, because again, this is just a straight shot to the basket, and if you're pushing, it might be an opportunity that you can do that, or we could have the V-Jet with missiles to help support, but this is one of those stages where you get the jumps in, and you can kind of control behind the basket and throw clams in when you're not able to be spotted by the enemy. That's going to come in handy very much.
Yeah, if you can get a strong skirmisher weapon behind the basket, something like a CDS, a brush, or something like that, it's annoying to displace. So I think if we're going to see any of those weapons, it would be on this game. Looks like not from that. All right, we're going to the longer mid-range shooters from both sides here, just trying to play the control game, play for specials, and push in with overwhelming force once they've got them.
That's right, and we do see the Ray on both sides. We also see Bubble on both sides with the Forge and the Foil Squeezer too. So this is going to be very. I like this idea. I like this, and I know it's something that we do see anyways. But when you can time these bubbles and get those pops and able to score your power claims and support claims in, you can make some very nice pushes.
Ooh, Mop on a flank here that I don't think they see. This is a good defensive position to take. A lot of the time you actually stop this push from behind. You stop it from dropping into mid and then pushing back to your own basket to suffocate the push so they can't go back for more clams. And it looks like they pulled it off pretty well there. Stuffed it at only 71. That's a pretty good look for the defense there. So Taste the Rainbow, I mean, they got some points on the board. They've got the lead, but you can't expect that to last. Ooh, great pick there. There's the Ray, and can they win this? No, they can't. Mop with a great flank. Again, putting bubbles in, actually. They're trying to go on the aggressive here, even though they're outnumbered.
Yeah, they certainly are, because they knew that, okay, some of these members from Taste the Rainbow, they could get a power claim out of anywhere. Some of these players are by the basket, so we need to take them out before they have an opportunity to jump in. But that being said, Taste the Rainbow now has a power clam, but do lose a little bit of control as Midnight Sun trying to push forward now. Ooh, is one of them going to get this clam? It looks like they are going to get it and bring it back to their side now, but a few players are going to go down from Taste the Rainbow by their basket, as now members of Midnight Sun trying to push forward once again, but Taste the Rainbow needing to set up on defense, and here's the score.
It has been really weird watching which team is in control here, because they're playing on opposite sides of the map from each other. They're playing at each other's basket. But I think the big difference there was just that I think Midnight Sun here was able to get clams in time to actually score, whereas Taste the Rainbow, who I think we're watching here, I've been mixing it up a couple of times, and my apologies for that, but they didn't have the clams when it was time to go, when they had those huge advantages that they'd won at the enemy basket, so...
Yeah, and there's something to be said about that opening push where you can score very quickly. You want to set the tone. You want to set the pressure of, oh, hey, we can score with you know, without you realizing how many claims we have. So I think that's kind of what they were going for, and of course they were hoping to score again, but now they are able to break the basket open, and 3 players are going to be down, but 2 players alive now on Taste of Rainbow. They're going to try and push up and get some of these claims in. They do have the lead, and Glizzy's still alive, but without any claims, trying to keep that bubble big so it can provide some more defense, and that's going to be a power claim push. They are going to score, getting all the way down to 12.
That's a huge push for them. They got all of the clams that they came there with, and they stalled for long enough to jump the pity clam in. That's mission accomplished, I would say. Obviously, not getting the KO, which is what you would hope for, but given the numbers that they had, the way that the fights went, they scored their clams very efficiently. Did a great job there. Ooh, the Ray is threatened here. Can they drop back and pick up the flank? They cannot. Goes for a 1-for-1 trade, and that will kind of stall their forward momentum. Notice how the entire team backed up on Taste the Rainbow. That surrendered all of mid control, and now Midnight Sun is pushing in at the front door.
Midnight Sun in a better position now as Mop is going to be getting a power claim, has the bubbles ready, but it's going to try and take down, I believe that was the K-Pro or the Forge, but is able to score. I don't know how much follow-up they're going to have. It looks like Gold was trying to pick up the pity claim, but no, they're going to be left alone. So it's going to be a missed opportunity for Midnight Sun as they have just about a minute left. They're going to have to find a way to coordinate their specials and get one more power claim to try and get a game-winning push.
That was a really good clutch defense from Taste the Rainbow, and I think that's making the difference here. Whereas, you know, both teams have been able to get into the basket. When Taste the Rainbow got in, they got in decisively and put everything they had in the basket. They got everyone in there safely.
And now Taste the Rainbow has the basket open. Can they get the KO? And it looks like Violet on the side trying to get some of these claims and able to get them in, but not enough to get rid of their penalty points as they are now dropped down into useless. But this basket is still open. And Glizzy, the only other player who's alive right now, they're not going to be able to get this knockout in, unfortunately, but that's going to give Midnight Sun one more opportunity.
I do like, even though, you know, there's no push to be made, still picking up the clams, make sure that the other team can't get the clams. They need a huge score right now. 14 clams is not enough for them to win this game. They're going to need to be able to pick up more. And if Taste the Rainbow picks those up instead, what do you do?
Yeah, it's going to be really hard, and Taste the Rainbow doing a good job just pushing Midnight Sun all the way back, knowing that these players would have to go and fish for this power clam that is laying on the ground. And now they're going to try and get some clams situated, trying to toss some clams. Can they get the power clam? Oh no, but it looks like Taste the Rainbow able to get a counter push to win the game and win the set.
Yeah, the mess making the power clam notwithstanding, that was still a very strong position at the very end there for Midnight Sun. No, I insist. You score. No, you score. Please, I insist.
You know, it's always hard because it's easier, I think, to just chuck clams at a teammate than it is to try and rush and get some. So, you know, you can still be coordinating. Okay, you do it. No, you do it. But you don't realize, oh, wait, no, I should be the one who's scoring. It's hard to not throw the clams when you are trying to get a power clam for them. So I totally understand the confusion. But hey, Taste of Rainbow able to get that counter push and get the win. Taste of Rainbow going to be moving up to 4-2. Midnight Sun going to be ending day one of Low Ink at 3-3.
Yep. Congratulations to Taste the Rainbow there. That was a well-fought battle, and they really made their one most important push count, and that was what really matters. You got to keep the basket open, you got to get all your clams in, you got to have the clams ready to go, you got to have control. They did all of that, they played it really well, and so hats off to them. They've earned their spot moving forward.
They did, and I just checked the standings, and Essence is they're the only team from Bracket A to move on to 6-0, and Prism from Bracket B at 6-0. So those two teams we will likely be seeing in Alpha Bracket tomorrow for sure. But today was so fun, and I know tomorrow is going to be a blast. And believe we have a very important announcement that we need to say.
Yes, we have some news for all of you. What could it be? So, are you guys ready to go for one more season? We hope you are. Because starting July 2nd, the SAC Splatoon Advanced Circuit is back for the final time in Splatoon 2. You and your team could be the one to close it out for the last time in SAC's history with the game. So don't wait, sign up today. we here at the SAC will be providing more information very soon. Make sure you stay up to date with everything IPL for more on that exciting event.
And SAC is always so fun to watch. And think about it, you could be playing in the last one for Splatoon 2, so definitely sign up. I can't think of anything better to do with my summer than play SAC. This is going to be incredible.
Yeah, I've done a ton of SAC events, and they were always really well run. They were always great practice, so definitely recommend it for, any of the teams that are playing here. Go check that one out too. Definitely worth your attention.
And that's going to be it for us today on day one of Low Ink. Jem, where can we find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at strati_gem. That's STRATI_GEM. I also run Squid School, which is a YouTube channel where we make guide content. So if you're watching right now and you're like, man, this looks fun, but I don't feel like I have the knowledge, the skills to get into it, that's a resource that I curate to try and help people get into it. So hope to see some of you guys maybe check that out, refine your skills a little bit, and then see you at the next Low Ink. And then how about you, Falco?
Yeah, you can find me, Falco Flyer, on Twitch. I stream solo queue and viewer play during the weeks and weekends, and you can follow me on Twitch at FalcoFlyer11. But yeah, that's going to be it for day one of us, and we have a lot of action headed your way tomorrow. I believe starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be broadcasting the Alpha Bracket right here on Low Ink. So all of you guys who participated, make sure you pay attention to Discord, pay attention to your pings to see which bracket you will potentially be placed in. But that is going to be it for us today. We hope you had a wonderful day watching day one of Low Ink 2022. Have a fantastic day.
Bye-bye, everyone.